Hello, everybody. NBC Sports presents the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Raiders. This is Charlie Jones along with Randy Cross and Bob Golick. A look at the AFC West. San Diego is leading. They have a very tough finishing schedule. Denver, the Raiders, and Kansas City. You win your last three, you've got a shot. For Denver, John Elway is out with a torn knee capsule. That means that Hugh Millen will start for the first time since 1992 when he started with New England.
Two big matchups in this game. The first one, the Raider defensive line and future All-Pro Chester McLaughlin controlling the line of scrimmage against the Denver O-line.
For the Raiders, Jeff Hostetler, the quarterback. He's tough. He's the leader. He has been beat upon, sacked 30 times this year.
And the biggest matchup is going to be cornerback Crockett on one side, Smith on the other side, because they're going to blitz the Raiders. They're going after Hostetler. That puts them in man-to-man coverage against the Raiders' speed.
Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, an excellent crowd on hand here this afternoon. It's going to be a gorgeous day. The temperature in the 60s. The Raiders won the toss. They will be receiving. The Denver Broncos will be kicking off. Jason Elam will kick off for the Denver Broncos, and number 89, Alexander Wright, number 86, Rocket Ismail. They are the two deep backs. They are speed burners.
Exactly, Charlie. And the Raiders have dominated this matchup. Archell 10-1 against the Broncos for one reason alone. They like to physically beat on the Broncos. The Broncos have to establish themselves in the line of scrimmage to be in this game. The first matchup this year, the Raiders took them out early.
Coliseum. Taken back at the 2-yard line by Alexander Wright. He heads to the right, slips a tackle, slips another one, turns the corner, has a pretty good return. Tony Kimbrough finally chased him out for the Denver Broncos. For the Raiders, the quarterback, Jeff Hostetler. And look at that offensive line. Hostetler will hold on to the ball. He will hold on to the ball. He will hold on to the ball. His line will have to give him time to throw. Backs and receivers, Tim Brown has 73 receptions. That is 16 more than the rest of the wide receivers combined.
You mentioned the speed of the Raiders. When they go to the 3 wide receiver, Ishmael comes in, and they go down the field. Don't be surprised, just like they opened up the San Diego game on Monday night, the Raiders will go long early, they'll go long often.
And they open with a play-action fake. Hostetler scrambles, he is going to be sacked. He is dropped back at the 13-yard line. He'll lose about 5 on the opening play. Carl Mecklenburg got him, along with Simon Fletcher. That, by the way, only the 13th sack of the year for this defense of Denver. That front seven, well, we mentioned it. They had a low of 12 sacks. They've got to have more. They have started with 1. Secondary. Ben Smith, Ray Crockett, the cornerbacks, they'll have a busy afternoon
and that
against
secondary,
the speedy wide receivers.
Charlie, that secondary was immediately challenged. They sent Alexander Wright deep down the field, the play-action fake. They were going for the bomb on the first one. Great coverage.
And he'll throw again. Here's pressure from this side. He's throwing it away. He caught a blitz coming from Mike Kroll, and he had to dump it off. It is incomplete. It will be 3rd down and 14.
Sort of the missing ingredient in Mike Kroll's game this year, all the year long, has been the pressure as 51 comes from the right side of your screen on Hostetler. And Hostetler is just getting this thing away because Kroll has never even breathed on.
It will be 3rd down and 14. You will recall last Monday night against San Diego, the Raiders scored on their first play. 76 yards on the touchdown pass to Alexander Wright. Now they face 3rd and 14 in their opening drive. And Hostetler to throw. Has pressure up the middle, completes the pass up the middle. Alexander Wright, and he is decked at the 21-yard line. It will be 4th down, and the Raiders will kick it away. Elijah Alexander nailed him.
And the key on that play is just the fact that the Broncos have come out. I talked about the fact that they had to establish themselves early. What got them to this point at 7-6 and a shot at the playoffs is being physical and attacking on defense. They blitzed all 3 downs and come up with a big hit on 3rd down by Alexander. They have to keep that up this entire game to get in the Raiders' face.
Jeff Gossett will be kicking to Glenn Milburn. And Denver could open with excellent field position. Pretty good kick. Just turns over at the end, takes it at the 35, slips a tackle, cuts back. Good coverage for the Raiders. Only a couple of yards on the return. 45 yards on the kick. We've got a flag down. It was dropped at the 40-yard line. Jerry McBride's the referee.
Illegal blocked. Number 50 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The call on Ray Jacobs, a rookie free agent from North Carolina.
You've got to look from the get-go for the Denver Broncos, Charlie. First down for Hugh Millen is going to be just absolutely the most important thing every single time they have that situation for him. He cannot get into 2nd and 10. He cannot get into 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15. This defense will attack, and they'll take him out of the ball game because that man there, John Elway, is not going to play today.
And they will open with Derek Clark and Leonard Russell, their big backs, as the two running backs. 27-yard line, first down. The pitch to Russell around the right side, and he's out to the 30-yard line. So he'll pick up 3 on the opening play. Eddie Anderson with the tackle. Hugh Millen, of course, the quarterback, that offensive line. They've got to take it up a notch if they are going to give him time to throw. Backs and receivers, all eyes not as usual on number 7, but on number 17, quarterback Hugh Millen, 9-year veteran playing in just his 32nd game.
And really the challenge for this entire group when they go to 3rd down, 1st and 2nd down, throwing the ball, getting used to Hugh Millen at quarterback from the receiver standpoint.
And here's Russell again, this time off of the left side. Almost breaks the tackle, a fistful of jersey, but he still stretches the jersey to the 35-yard line, and he picks up 5. Anthony Smith and Greg Biekert on the stop.
Well, you talked about the big backs in that backfield. Chester McLaughlin is down after trying to get in on that last play in the tackle, and what they did, they just came right at that side. McLaughlin starting in a little bit unusual spot today, starting at defensive end, which is a change-up for him. He was the first one that got a face full of the running back, and Biekert managed to drag him down. But so far, the Broncos are asserting themselves. They're the ones that are initiating contact. They're initiating a lot of the action, and that's what they have to do against a team like this that has defensive linemen like Chester McLaughlin, especially on defense, because this is a defense that likes to penetrate and it likes to completely disrupt an offense.
For the Broncos, it will be 3rd down and short. Actually, about 2.5 to go for the first down. Glenn Milburn comes in to join Leonard Russell. They are now the 2 running backs. And they'll show the shotgun formation for the first time. Shannon Sharp says this is what we need, 3rd and 5 or less. And the pass is too tall, far side. It is incomplete. He goes to Milburn. Fredrickson had the coverage. 4th down, and Denver will kick.
But look for Milburn to be very involved with Hugh Millen. And Hugh Millen knows that in that situation, that's just sort of his first series. He's a little pumped. He talked about, hey, all quarterbacks are pumped up at the beginning of a game. I don't think it's that unusual, and I disagree with him. He's in a high-pressure situation here, and that adrenaline is just working a little bit more.
Tom Royan will be kicking to Tim Brown. And it is high, fairly short. Tim moves up, takes it at the 30, has a couple of yards on the return. He steps out of bounds after that 36-yard kick. We have no score. We'll be back in a moment. This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross for the Raiders. Their second opportunity on offense. Do you look for them to go long again?
I look for them to go along a lot because what Denver did was they came out and they did what they've been doing best, and it's attacking defensively. The problem with attacking defensively, it leaves your corner in man situations, and man against the Raiders is like risking death because they will go long, and Art Shell loves to get the ball down 30, 40 yards down the field, let his guys run down underneath it.
The ball just shy of the 35-yard line. Raiders in their own territory. No score in the ball game. And the give is to Harvey Williams. Williams will take the shot straight at the middle for about 3 yards on the play as we step across the country to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, an important game to both the Raiders and Broncos in the AFC playoff picture. The Bills lose to Minnesota, and this injury with a minute and a half to Jim Kelly. He left the game with an injury to his left knee, hit by Henry Thomas of the Vikings. 21-7, Minnesota wins it. Buffalo falls to 7-7. Charlie?
Well, we're going to miss Buffalo in the playoffs, it looks, but what a nice addition with the Vikings playing so well near the end of the season. Hostetler, he is going to run. Will he slide? No, he'll dive for it. Across the 45, 46-yard line. He scrambles for the first down. First down of the ball game for the Raiders. Mecklenburg covers it.
Charlie, remember what the Raiders do best is they form a pocket like this for Hostetler. He stands back in it longer than anybody else in the league, and he looks downfield. Here he takes a page out of Elway's book. He gets in the pocket, he sees a hole, and he just takes it. This is gimme yardage. This is a quarterback just saying, hey, look, I'm not going to take a risk. I'm not going to take a chance. If you'll give me 7, 8, 10 yards, I'm going to take it.
Raiders with a first down. And Harvey Williams again gets the call. And a couple of yards to the 47, he bumps into Darrell Hall. Hall is the strong safety. He is starting for Steve Atwater, who is inactive for the ballgame. He is plagued by that hamstring injury.
He really is. And he didn't practice all week long. In fact, Elway was a lot less questionable than Atwater was. And you know how bad that's got to be when that's the situation. But this is a guy much out of the Atwater mold. This is a defensive back, spent some time in Canada, that loves to come up and make contact, likes to blitz. Coverage is not his forte.
Hostetler to throw on second and long. Pump fake. He goes deep, hangs it up, and it's almost intercepted. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Dennis Smith had a golden opportunity for his first interception of the year, and he did not make it.
Jeff Hostetler has to be thinking right now, what in the heck was I thinking? He's got a defender down around his legs. The inside receiver is Alexander Wright as he heads down the field. He is completely covered. And the only reason he doesn't get both hands on the ball, I don't think he thought he could at the time. And Hostetler had to be begging right about then that it wasn't an interception.
Third down and 8. Four-man rush. Pressure from both sides. He is hit. It is an incomplete pass. So it will be fourth down. It was Simon Fletcher who got to him. And so the Broncos continuing to apply the pressure to Hostetler.
At all costs. They're bringing Mecklenburg. They're bringing the safety Hall. They're bringing everybody. And they're doing what they haven't done most of the season. That's getting to the quarterback early. They've gotten to him on occasion late. But when you can get Dronette and you can get Fletcher there, you get him home against this quarterback. He is not used to seeing a Denver Bronco team this year going after the quarterback.
Jeff Gossett will be kicking to Glenn Milburn. And he fields it at the 8-yard line, and he is going to be out of bounds there. Covered immediately by Dan Lamb. 45 yards on the kick. And we've got flags flying at the 50-yard line.
That's because of a little tussle.
Jeff Gossett, the punter, was involved for the Raiders. It's Richard Harvey, number 52, applying his last 2 cents.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 51, Raiders. 15 yards.
That's Aaron Wallace.
Dead ball spot. First down, timeout.
That is a big foul for the Raiders. That gets Hugh Millen out of a hole and gives them some breathing room.
Welcome back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Denver Raiders, no score. Chester McLaughlin back in the ball game. He was shaken up just momentarily, and he is back in. Denver has the ball on their own 23-yard line, but Leonard Russell has the remaining back. Sharp comes across in motion, Millen to throw, and he goes to Sharp, and it's incomplete. He was picked up by Fredrickson and Greg Beaker. It'll be second down and 10.
Jeff Hostetler on the sideline warming up a little bit. You know, remember, Charlie, 2 weeks ago, this quarterback went out, had a concussion, had migraines. He's still been complaining a little bit of dizziness and nausea. And if you go after this quarterback, you keep hitting him, you're going to see Vince Evans early in this ball game.
Second down. Milburn now is the remaining back. A quick opener on the left side. And he's going to pick up about 5 yards on the play before he is pushed back.
That was pretty unnecessary at the end of that play. Nolan Harrison's very lucky he didn't get a penalty.
Let's check out the Raiders defense. Their front seven, 33 sacks on the year. They hope to add to that total. The secondary with their blitz packages, the corner and safeties, they will have a lot of single coverage today.
That's not really a big deal for the Raiders, though, Charlie. Terry McDaniel is probably one of the best man-on-men cornerbacks in the NFL right now. And Albert Lewis has made his living in Kansas City and here covering one-on-one.
3rd down and 4 from the shotgun. And again, Denver wants 3rd and 5 or less. They have it here. Far side, and he misses it completely. Now, Shannon Sharp, who's going to Anthony Miller. We've got a flag down on the far side at the 42.
It's going to be a little contact out there, I think, on McDaniel.
Shannon Sharp told us, he said, with our ball control offense, if we're 3rd and 5 or less, he said, we can eat them up. But they haven't been able to do that so
Illegal
far.
contact foul, number 36, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And the Raiders continue to run up their total of penalties. They're trying to set a new NFL record. They need 21 to tie and 22 to break.
Well, part of being a good man corner like that, and McDaniel got burned that time and got the penalty, you got to have a little larceny in your soul. You have to be willing to cheat a little bit. You have to be willing to pull on the jersey, cut off the path, do a few things, and risk getting caught once in a while to be a great man corner.
The ball at the Denver 34-yard line. It is a first down. We have no score in the ball game. 8:45 time remaining. We're in the first quarter. Russell back as the running back. And he has a sweep to the left side. We've got a flag down. And he's going to crawl for a couple of yards, but it looked as if McGlockton had cheated his way into the neutral zone.
Well, he just sort of fell out of his stance with that new inflection, that new voice he's hearing out of Hugh Millen.
Offside, number 74, defense.
They call it on Nolan Harrison.
First down.
That is the 3rd penalty already against the Raiders here in the first quarter.
Well, I asked the defensive lineman. Here's Chester McGlockton. He's clearly the man in the neutral zone right there, 91. I asked him on Friday, how long does it take to get used to a new quarterback, a quarterback's cadence? What does that take? He says, it takes me 2 or 3 series because most quarterbacks establish their rhythm within those numbers.
And here's a sweep to the left side with Derek Clark. And Clark is around the corner, and he is out of bounds outside the 47-yard line. Let's call it the 48. Beekert was chasing him, and he's got the first down.
You want to see a good block? I mean, a good block. Watch Leonard Russell, 42, out in front. He just absolutely flattens right there. That's McDaniel. I mean, you're talking airtime, and you don't get too much airtime usually on blocks, but all of a sudden the guy's standing straight up, and suddenly his helmet and his feet are at the same level.
Spotted at the 47. Here is Russell, who laid the block, and now he is laid out, as he has no gain, covered by Nolan Harrison and Rob Fredrickson. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 as we go to New York. And an update, Greg.
All right, Charlie, at the Meadowlands, the Giants keep their playoff hopes alive. A pass interference call against the Bengals set up Rodney Hampton's 3-yard run with 40 seconds to play. It's a 27-20 Giant win. They have won 4 in a row, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg. Here we have 7:27 and counting in a scoreless first quarter. Miller to throw, blitz from the outside. It is picked up, pump fake, comes back. It is tipped incomplete. He had a pump fake to the right, and then he came back to the left. Rob Fredrickson was there. He was going to the number 2 tight end, Jerry Evans, who, by the way, has 9 receptions and a pair of touchdowns.
Watch what happens at the very end. When he does pump fake that action, Fredrickson's right there. He's just trying to make something happen because the timing has been broken down by Chester McGlockton in the pocket. Watch 91 right at the very end. He knows he's got to get rid of it, and he's got nowhere to go.
3rd down and long. Here comes the blitz from the outside again. Pressure from the backside. It is tipped, and it is incomplete. Wade Phillips wanted a flag called on Albert Lewis. Shannon Sharp, the intended receiver, he did not get it. 4th down.
Good defense there by Albert Lewis, Charlie. He was all over him. Legally, all over him.
There is a difference.
Yeah, a flag.
So Tom Royan will be kicking for Denver. Just a check of the flags in the Coliseum. We don't have any wind at all today. Tim Brown is the return man. Oh, good catch. He'll let it go. Signal for the fair catch, and it will take a Bronco bounce inside the 5. We'll be down between the 3 and the 4-yard line. We'll step aside following that 49-yard kick. No score. Back in a moment. This aerial picture courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Today's pilot is Charles Russell from Downey. Raiders from their own 4-yard line. Here is Harvey Williams around the left side. He almost got caught.
Harvey Williams.
For a loss of a yard or 2, but slipped a tackle and got around the corner to the 10-yard line. Good move.
It was. It's a defense, really. You have to attack a lot because this offense has got 2 tight ends. They've got their splits down, and you've got a deal going on where you can be beat by bouncing the ball outside because you're so inside conscious. And actually right there, I think the Raiders got away with at least 2 holding calls on the left side of their line.
2nd down and 4. Rathman is the fullback. He is the lead blocker for Williams. And Harvey is close to the 1st down at the 14-yard line. He needed 4, and it looks as if he may have gotten it all.
You know, Charlie, some of the time you come out of a game with like 10, 15, 20 plays scripted. Here's the part of the game where you go off the script and you just try to beat on people, come off the ball. That's exactly what Steve Wisniewski did against Mecklenburg. Came off, put his head right in the middle of Mecklenburg's chest and drove him off the line. And that was one of the keys to the first meeting between these 2 teams, because the offensive line for the Raiders took huge splits, about 3-4 feet, and came off and brutalized the Broncos defense.
And it is the 1st down. When we talked with Shannon Sharp yesterday, he said one thing that he always liked from a Broncos standpoint of playing the Raiders, he says that you just line it up, and we want to find out if our 11 are better than their 11. He said, and that's the way it is supposed to be.
Well, I tell you what, the Raiders 11 was better than the Broncos 22
That's right.
last time they played, because Shannon Sharp and the entire Broncos team, the first time they looked at the scoreboard, they were down 21-3.
And now the challenge for Denver in the scoreless first quarter is, can they survive against the Raiders without John Elway? Here comes the blitz. Play action fake. Hostetler rolls out. Signals for a man to go long. Has him open. Throws it. Good reception. Here's Harvey Williams with a jump catch. Big play. 27 yards. Hostetler to Williams. Darrell Hall and Ben Smith finally got it.
And a little bit of a different deal that Jeff Hostetler's added to this offense the last 2 years. Unlike most Raiders quarterbacks, when he gets out of the pocket, he's very good at finding his receivers and throwing touch passes. That's a touch pass. As you're running to your right, you're throwing it to a receiver who's going to your left. That's a very difficult throw, perfectly executed by Jeff Hostetler.
Raiders 40-yard line, 1st down. Hostetler to throw. Good protection, and now the pocket breaks down on him, and he is sacked. Shane Dronette got him. That is the 2nd sack for the Broncos, only their 14th on the year.
Well, part of the problem and part of the cure is going to be attacking Jeff Hostetler from the Broncos defensive standpoint. Collapse that pocket. I drew that big U up there early in the game. You want that thing a U. Right there, it turned into a double L quick. See Shane Dronette on the sideline. Came off a little bit banged up, doing a little quick equipment check, it looks like.
2nd and 18. This time Hostetler with good protection goes to the far sideline to Tim Brown. They're going to say he has the catch. He was pushed out, but if you make the catch, and you would have come down with both feet inbounds, and you get the call. And it's good for 17 yards. Need 1 more for the 1st down.
Now this is pure timing between Jeff Hostetler and his favorite receiver, Tim Brown. He's up. And when he comes down, watch where his feet are before he's hit. Watch the feet hanging in the air right there, Woody. That is a judgment call. That is a judgment call
and
there.
a good judgment call, too. You're going to get that
I'll
call.
say judgment.
All right. Third down, actually 1.5 yards to go for the first down. And Harvey Williams is turned away at the 50-yard line. But now remember, he had to get the ball to the 50. They're going to mark it on the Broncos side of the 50, and he has the first down.
You know, Charlie, I talked about those big splits for the Raiders offensive line. This is the area right in here. See this? See this here? See this here? That makes just for more area for the Denver defenders to have to cover. The Raiders are a team that loves to man block, loves to come off the ball and nail you in the chest. And Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator at Denver, knows when they split my guys out, slanting and splits and blitzes have to be done.
Hostetler throwing on first down. He goes long, has a man, and it is knocked away. Excellent recovery and a great catch up by Ray Crockett. He got there just in time.
That looks like the exact same play Hostetler burned the Chargers for last week on the opening play. A quick play action fake. Throw that thing up over the right side of the field. Let your guy go get it. Only problem? Ray Crockett doing a great job off of a blitz, isolated in man, of doing the coverage and then getting the ball.
James Jett, the intended receiver, bring it back to the 49. It is second down and 10. No score in the ball game. Brown the motion man. And here is Harvey Williams. He's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play, and that's going to be it. So mark it third down and 8. Now remember, the Raiders started this drive following the punt back at their own 4-yard line. This will be the 9th play of the drive. And interestingly enough, they have done it without a penalty.
And you saw the evolution of sort of a game plan and how to call offense. You're backed up, you run the ball. You throw a safe little pass to the running back that turns into a long pass, and suddenly Art Shell's game plan is wide open. He was an offensive coordinator, Tom Walsh, can just say, now I can run anything I want.
Third down and 8. Glover, the tight end, the motion man, with 3 receivers on the right side, pressure and a sack. Third sack of the ball game for the Denver Broncos, and Simon Fletcher gets this one.
Charlie, the NFL record in a non-strike year was 13 sacks in a season by the Baltimore Colts. The Denver Broncos came in here with 12. You expected the protection to come for Hostetler. What's come for Hostetler has been no time, and specifically by 2 guys, Simon Fletcher and Dronette.
Third sack of the ball game for the Broncos, so Jeff Gossett will be kicking. And Glenn Milburn is the return man. He's back at the 15-yard line of Denver. 2:21 and counting. Time remaining in this scoreless first quarter. Pressure, but he gets the kickoff. It doesn't turn over, but takes a Raider roll inside the 15. It's going to go down to the 11. We've got a flag back at the 37-yard line. If it stands, it's a 48-yard kick. The penalty will be against the Raiders. That is their 4th penalty already in the first quarter. You know something? If we took everybody in the Coliseum, a $1 donation on every Raider penalty, we could retire the national debt by the end of the year.
Well, Steve Ortmeyer, you just saw there, the special teams coach from the Raiders, is a lot.
Number 67, Raiders, while the kick was in the air, it's a 5-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. First down, timeout.
And that is on the center, Dan Turk.
There's Ortmeyer. He's like Art Shell. They don't want to take away from the aggressiveness of the Raiders by saying, don't commit a foul.
As we were away, as we come back now, there's been a change on the penalty. Of course, it was against the Raiders on Dan Turk, the center, for holding, and now they'll bring it back and re-kick rather than giving him the penalty at the end of the play.
Well, as he should have. That was a pre-possession change foul. So it doesn't go on after the possession. It's not added on then. It's added on as the old spot from the last foul. For that last punt right there.
Previous spot.
It's interesting for me that Dan Turk, the center, was called for holding. I don't know how the heck a center holds on a punt when he's trying to get down in coverage. But
no, you're very busy at that time, aren't you?
You know, when I said that, you know, Ortmeyer and Art Shell don't want to take away from the aggression, you don't dream that you got something like that happen. You want you guys just to go at it and do it. If they get a penalty of aggression, you can take it. A penalty of stupidity you don't want.
All right, and here is the kick. Milburn for the 20, 25. He spins, breaks loose, Dodges, darts, 30-yard line fly. A highlight film return of 10 yards following the 41-yard kick. Put that down in slow motion and replay it, and you've got a highlight package. Wes Bender with the tackle, and here is Jerry Muckrow.
Illegal block, number 50 on the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Ray Jacobs, the rookie. Next Saturday here on NBC at 3:30 Eastern Time, a special edition of NFL Action. It may be a day game. It's prime time on NFL Live. You will not want to miss Bob Costas' interview with the 49ers flamboyant all-pro cornerback Deion Sanders. Then Sanders, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and the explosive San Francisco 49ers will host John Elway, if he is well, Shannon Sharpe, and the Denver Broncos in a game crucial to the Broncos' playoffs hope. Denver versus San Francisco. That is next Saturday here on NBC. Now from the 17-yard line, here's a sweep to the right side with Reggie Rivers. Rivers across the 20 to the 21, so he'll pick up 4. It'll be second down and 6 as Greg Biekert makes the tackle.
That was a nice play with the backside by Chester McLaughlin, running that thing down and making the tackle. But you know, one thing that comes to mind right now is watch 91 working from the backside. You're getting blitzes, you're getting attack out of the Raiders defense, and the play comes from a backside defensive lineman. Except for a couple of the Raiders defensive linemen, this Raiders defense right now looks a little soft.
Millen on the pitch. Here's Derek Clark, and Clark is going to be bumped for a loss. It was the rookie Rob Fredrickson against the rookie Derek Clark, and Fredrickson won the confrontation.
Well, this play is made by 2 people. Rob Fredrickson's one. Watch right here. McLaughlin comes straight up the field, and watch that Fredrickson's out in this area coming out here. Watch what he does as he forces the ball outside. See McLaughlin penetrate and get up the field. Then the linebacker, Fredrickson, perfect position. You hear the term inside shoulder, played on your inside shoulder all the time. He held the blocker on the inside shoulder, and the runner could not get around him.
Third down and 11. Millen from the shotgun. Over the middle, pass is complete to Shannon Sharpe, but he is going to come up about 4 or 5 yards shy of the first down. They needed 11. He could not pick up that much.
Shannon Sharpe made the point to you last night, Charlie, that, you know, hey, I haven't practiced all week. I won't be that familiar with Hugh Millen, and he won't be that comfortable with me. But in order for the Broncos to be successful against this manned-up type defense of the Los Angeles Raiders, Millen has got to find a way to get the ball in number 84's hands a lot.
Tom Ruin will be kicking to Tim Brown. A low driving kick. Brown takes it at the 38. He's to the 40, and then kind of leans out to the 44-yard line. Only 39 yards on the kick with a 5-yard return. Jeff Robinson was there for Denver, and we have 3 seconds left in the first period.
Take a look there. You see Fred Biletnikoff with a headset and a hat on talking to Jeff Hostetler, and his main concern for his quarterback right now has got to be the protection that he hasn't gotten, because the Broncos have gotten there. They put pressure on Hostetler with blitzes, but they've gotten home on him with straight defensive line rushes.
Now, when we talked with Hostetler yesterday, he was still talking about the fact that he had been, the stomach hadn't all settled down from the concussion of a couple of weeks ago. Still a little woozy, and he looked thinner to me. Maybe it's the beard that he's got, but he looked a bit thin and on the haggard side.
I think it's the grunge look that got
the grunge look. It may have gotten me. All right, he hands off to Harvey Williams. And Williams will go to the 46-yard line. He's going to pick up a couple as we come to the end of the scoreless first quarter. Denver nothing, Raiders nothing. We'll be back with the second period in just a moment. This is Charlie Jones along with Randy Cross and Bob Golick. A scoreless first period. We start the second quarter. Raiders just shy of their own 46. Second down and 8. Hostetler's taking a bit of a beating as always.
They've got to give him the time in the pocket to get this passing game going.
Hostetler buys some time, throws knocked away. Good defensive play. Tim Brown is arguing that he wants a flag, but Rondell Jones came over the top, avoid the contact, went for the ball. It'll be second down and 10.
Remember that old commercial, over, under, around, and through. You're going to see over, under, around, and through. Rondell Jones Over. There it is. Nothing wrong with that. That's just good aggressive defense. That's a little bit of an academy job right there by Tim Brown, complaining to the official, setting up for a little later call.
And let me make a correction. It will be 3rd down and 8. But Hostetler had more time to throw there than he has had all afternoon. And he's running out of time here. Slips one bit of pressure, completes the pass. And he'll have the 1st down. Is there a flag?
There's a flag down. It's going to come back. Greg Skrepenak, the right tackle, did the old wrestling move, the full-on takedown on Shane Durnett.
But when we talked with Art Shell about the penalties that the Raiders have, this penalty does not bother him.
Well, it does not bother him because it maintains the health of his quarterback.
Number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You know, usually guys in tights and wrestling shoes do this kind of stuff. Watch Skrepenak right here. Durnett's got him going backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Bear hug, dog pile.
And that is the 5th penalty against the Raiders in the 1st half.
But you make the point that Art Shell is willing to take that kind of a thing out of his offensive line. If it means the defensive lineman is going to get a free shot on Jeff Hostetler, especially with his physical condition and the way his head is still bothering him, he'll take that.
Hostetler to throw, 4-man rush. Rolls out, throws, it is high, incomplete. Tim Brown went for it, couldn't bring it down. And it will be 4th down.
A great change of pace now by the Broncos. And Wade Phillips and Charlie Waters, they're rushing just with the linemen. See all the time Hostetler's had the last couple of times? Plenty of time to throw the pass. As you heard Jerry Markwright announce illegal hand to the face on one of the offensive linemen of the Raiders that was declined by Denver. The call was on Gerald Perry, the left tackle, but you saw all the time that he has to throw the ball. It's a trade-off. If you blitz, you don't have much time. If you don't blitz, you have great coverage downfield, and that's what the Broncos had, was great coverage downfield.
Jeff Gossett will be kicking. Glenn Milburn is the return man. Very pleasant afternoon here at the Coliseum, and absolutely no wind at all. And the kick is not that good. We have flags flying, and it will be down around the 23 or the 24-yard line by the Raiders. A 41-yard kick.
You got an offsides and you have a hold, both on the same guy. I believe that might have been Dan Land coming inside, number 25, jumped off right on the snap and then caused a hold.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have offside. Number 52, defense. We have holding on number 52, offense. Penalties offset, 4th down.
Yeah, a pair of 52s will do it again.
Now watch the hold as Jones jumps offside, or Jones is going to hold 52 right here, top of the screen. See that? Now that's a good job. That's another one of those fouls you're willing to take if you're Art Shell, because otherwise you got a block kick.
And so we'll try it one more time. It's 4th down and 18.
Take a look at Art Shell, the gentleman you saw before with Steve Ormeyer, the special teams coach, and I was going to chew those nails to the nubs.
And this one will be down at the 31-yard line. So Denver will have pretty good field position, a punt of only 33 yards. No score. Back in a moment. 14 minutes to go in the 1st half. We have no score. And the Raiders fans, they are here as always.
So is the Raiders defense so far. Millen, 1 for 5 for 7 yards.
Only 29 yards in total offense. Play action fake, throws complete to Russell. Ball is in the air, knocked loose. A scramble for it. Raiders had a hand on it, couldn't hold on to it. Denver retains possession. And it is Dwayne Carswell, the rookie tight end from Liberty, who recovers the ball.
A very nice play call right here by Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator. Russell gets it. Now hold it and don't get cute. And jumping around on this Raiders defense is getting cute. You go in the air and try to make things happen off the ground, you're going to cough the ball up against this defense.
Denver has run a total of 13 plays, and their longest gain thus far is 8 yards. Derek Clark and Reggie Rivers are the running backs. And here's Derek Clark. He's going to come up about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards shy of the first down. It'll be third down and short.
We're talking about big running backs. We're talking about 2 tight ends. We're talking about a lot of aggressive call playing out of the Denver Broncos. You know, one thing we're not talking much about, and that's Shannon Sharp. When they've got 2 tight ends and they're worried about big backs, that means their best receiver, and probably now that John Elway is out, in fact, definitely now that John Elway is out, their best offensive player not in the game. You've got to have 84 in the game.
Here comes the blitz. And he's sacked. They sent 6 men on the blitz, and a couple are shaken up. 1 from each side.
Now you know what it feels like to be inside of a blender. As Eddie Anderson coming from the inside. You got McLaughlin, you got everybody coming after you. If you're Hugh Millen, you got a feel for a quarterback in this situation because there's not much you can do. There are no friends for you in this situation, and really your only friend is the ground. You got to get down to it.
Dave Wydell was shaken up on the play. Eddie Anderson was down for a moment. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Eddie Anderson caught a helmet right in the knee as it was blitzing, right above the knee and the thigh muscle there from Reggie Rivers. It was blitz pickup.
So Tom Rowan is going to kick. Tim Brown is the return man. Oh, good kick. Hangs this one, turns it over. Fair catch is called for and taken back at the 15-yard line. 52 yards on the kick by Tom Rowan. Scoreless ball game. Back in a moment. Raiders from their own 15-yard line. Hostetler comes out throwing, completes the pass to Tim Brown at the 20, leans to the 21, and wrapped up by Ben Smith.
And that's exactly what you need to do against a defense that's committed to attacking you. Let's take 3 steps. When you get to that 3rd step, watch the ball come out. 1, 2, 3, bang, gone. A rush cannot get near you, Charlie, if you get rid of the ball that quickly. You can play off the guys. You can do whatever you want. But Jeff Hostetler has got to establish a rhythm to this offense.
2nd down and 4. And here's Calvin Jones, his first carry of the ball game. And it should pick up the first down at the 25-yard line. This is a confrontation, of course, in the AFC West. Here are the standings, and San Diego leading, but they've got a very tough finishing schedule. They're playing the 49ers this afternoon, and they're trailing 7-0 in that ball game. Then they go to New York at the Jets, and then they have Pittsburgh at home. So you look at Denver, the Raiders, and Kansas City, and all 3 of them have that same situation. If you can run the table, win your last 3. If San Diego stumbles, you can make the playoffs. You can win the division. But first things first, you've got to run the table and win the last 3. Hostetler looked as if he wanted to hand off on an end around, gives instead to Calvin Jones, and Darrell Hall makes the tackle at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Calvin Jones, the rookie out of Nebraska, he is in this game for one reason, and that is to carry the ball. He doesn't catch many passes. He doesn't block, but what he does well is he follows blocks like the ones that Wisniewski and Perry and Bender are making out there in front of him. And he is what I would refer to as a decision runner. He's a guy that when he has to make a decision, he's already 2 feet into the hole before he makes a decision. This guy attacks the hole, attacks a crease.
2nd down and 5. Hostetler, 3 steps, fires, pass complete. Tim Brown up the sideline, across the 45 to the 46-yard line. 16 yards, Ben Smith makes the tackle, and a little word exchange as always in a game of this magnitude.
Well, these are good calls by the Raiders using Tim Brown in this fashion. Remember, both him and Ishmael are very good punt returners. Why not give the ball on short little patterns to the Browns and the Ishmaels and let them just go after it? Part of getting after it is getting the guy to let you go. And when he doesn't let you go, you turn the other cheek. In the Raider fashion, you try to run away, but he won't let you.
First down, 46-yard line. And here is the handoff to Rathman behind the fake of the reverse. And he goes out of bounds near the 40-yard line. It'll be a gain of 13 and a first down. Now, they showed this play a moment ago as if he wants to hand off to a flanker reverse, but he gives instead to Tom Rathman, and Rathman turns the corner, and he picks up the first down.
Watch this battle inside of it. Look at Ben Smith. He is wearing Tim Brown out. Hey, Ben, slight problem. Yeah, guy's got the ball running by you.
So mark the ball at the Denver 40-yard line, and the Raiders have the first down. And here is Calvin Jones to the far side. Slips a tackle around the corner. He cuts back. He may pick up 10 and a back-to-back first down. Mike Rowe finally got him.
That last play we saw Ben Smith, he lost his cool. He's getting into the Raiders' game of being intimidated. And right now, the Raider running game on that play did a little intimidating. Running and arm tackling equals yardage for the Raiders. Now the little battle on the backside. You're going to hit me in the head? I'm going to cut you down around the legs.
30-yard line, first down. No score in the ball game. Raiders driving. Play action fake. Lots of time. Now out of time. Sack. Denver. That is their fourth.
Shane Dronette again. Shane Dronette and Simon Fletcher are having a year right now on this offensive line of the Raiders. They are all over him, and it's not because of blitzes. This is a straight defensive line rush. You take Skrepenak, you move him back, and as soon as you see Hostetler move up, you spin off the block. I can't tell you enough of the job that Dronette and Fletcher are doing, because those two guys are about to take the Raiders out of their game plan. They've got to figure out a way of handling those two.
What did Shane tell us yesterday? The way we started the season, we thought somebody pulled a dirty trick on us. We were better than that. Hostetler rolls, throws, pass incomplete. He had to get rid of it. And Tom Rathman would have been the intended receiver, but the truth of the matter is he was throwing the ball away, avoiding the loss.
Well, both these defenses today, Charlie, are doing a wonderful job of mixing up their game plans. You know, from Art Shell's standpoint, they're going with man, they're going with blitz, they're softening up, they're confusing quarterbacks at times. And Charlie Waters and Wade Phillips, what they want to do, especially Charlie Waters. Charlie Waters is an attacking defensive coordinator. That's not quite the personality of Wade Phillips. And when you see this defense attack, it's because of Charlie Waters' influence.
Hostetler has completed 5 passes. He's been sacked 4 times. And he rolls left and he scrambles and he heads for the sideline and he gets out of bounds. But way shy of the first down, but he could well put the Raiders in field goal range. And Jeff Jager will come out. He has hit from 46, 47, 50, and 51 yards this year.
Well, Charlie, so far these two defenses are playing like you'd think maybe there was something on the line today.
There's a lot, isn't there? It's that kind of a ball game.
Both defenses are playing excellent, and right now both offenses look just a little confused.
And a 44-yard field goal attempt by Jeff Jager to break the scoreless tie. The Raiders holding their breath from 44 yards away. We'll take a look as we step aside.
The last thing you expect in a Raider-Bronco game, a kicky touchdown contest.
Goldberg applauding the 44-yard field goal of Jeff Jager. Raiders have the early lead, but it's late in the ballgame. 7.5 to go in the second quarter. Is Milburn on the return down at the 19-yard line, where Denver will go to work trailing in the ball game. But next week here on NBC. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents an action-packed NFL doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. The big game, the second game in the doubleheader, has been moved to 4 o'clock. That's Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland, of course, defeating Dallas yesterday, 19-14. Pittsburgh defeating Philadelphia today. And what did the Broncos all say about the Cleveland ball game? They beat Denver. That sends Dallas. That sends a message to all of us.
And it gives everybody in the AFC a little hope.
Yes.
You know, if Cleveland can knock off at Dallas, anything's possible this year for the AFC.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland both have cinched playoff berths, but they'll be looking for home field advantage. A big game, a late game next week. Millen goes deep. Single coverage, and it is incomplete. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver, and Albert Lewis picked him up. A page of the Raiders going deep on first down.
But the way that Hugh Millen's going to be successful is not chunking the ball downfield. He's got to start getting some rhythm and some confidence going. You should take a look at him having 2 completions for 12 yards, getting the short passing game going and going to his reliable high percentage type receivers. And there isn't a better reliable high percentage type receiver, as John Elway knows, than Shannon Sharp. We've got to get this guy involved. If they don't, this offense cannot move the ball.
Elway with that torn knee capsule, not expected to play today. Here is the handoff to Milburn, and he is almost stripped of the ball. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. Anthony Smith wraps him up. At that point, it will be 3rd down and long.
Well, look at the possessions of the Denver Broncos the first few times they've had the ball here. It's just been sort of a token appearance and punt, and a lot of that has to do with one thing. We talked about it earlier. Chester McLaughlin and the defensive line of the Los Angeles Raiders right now are stuffing the offensive line of the Broncos.
From the shotgun, 5 on the rush. Millen rolls out, buys time, throws on the run. He's throwing it away. He had pressure coming from his backside as he turned and was coming to the near side. And we'll take a look at that pressure.
Millen has got to throw his passes on a timing type situation. If he gets out of the pocket, he is lost, I think. Not used to moving around. And when you've got a young linebacker like Fredrickson bearing down on you, he does the smart thing. He gets the ball high, gets it out of bounds.
Tom Ruin will be kicking to Tim Brown. Tim Brown, of course, a former Heisman Trophy winner. And here is the kick. Fair catch call for by Tim at the 39-yard line. 39 yards on the kick. We'll step aside. Back in a moment. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, has been providing these beautiful aerial pictures this afternoon as it flies above the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and it looks down on a scoreboard that says Raiders 3 and Denver nothing. And the Raiders from their own 40-yard line. Here's Harvey Williams. Williams breaks clean to the 50, 45, 43-yard line. 17 yards on the play.
This is a play designed to go outside. The counter play is designed to go out in here. Watch a crease open up just to the right of the goalpost. Harvey Williams makes his decision. It's too good to pass up. I got to take it. It's exactly what he does. Gets a nice lead block there by Gerald Perry. And I talked about Calvin Jones being a guy making a decision who likes to attack a hole. Harvey Williams usually more of a glider, but he attacked that one.
And here is Harvey Williams on a sweep to the left side. Turns it upfield, but picks up only a couple of yards on the play. Dennis Smith moves up to make the tackle. And a look at John Elway on the sideline.
If I was John Elway right here, I would get right in Millen's face, right where he is right now. If he didn't have his complete attention, kind of wiggle his face mask, go, you, 8-4, 84. Shannon Sharp, get him the ball.
And there is Shannon Sharp.
And he looks altogether too rested.
Yes. 2nd down and 8. Hostetter looks right, left, comes back right as Rocket, and he hits it. Rocket Ishmael. Ben Smith had the coverage. He beat him for 23 yards.
Part of the development, part of the maturing of this Raiders offense here in 1994 has been Jeff Hostetler getting more comfortable in the last month or so with this young wide receiver Ishmael, learning what he does well and changing things up. People go into the game saying, we got to stop 81. We got to stop Tim Brown. Well, there's another Notre Dame receiver on this Raider team who's accomplished a few things himself, and Hostetler is finding them.
Rocket said we simply were not on the same page. I talked to him and said, oh, now I understand where you want me to be. And he has been there, and he has been hitting him. This time it's Harvey Williams on the ground. He goes to the 15, a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. And Rocket has really been hot. In the last 4 games, 10 receptions and 4 touchdowns.
And a lot of that has to do with, just like you said, he and Hostetler are deciding that in order to expand this offense and go further and do what they want to do, they've got to get more people involved. And why leave a weapon like this that can do so much after he catches the ball? After they catch the ball, Tim Brown and Rocket Ismail are as good as anybody in the AFC.
But the first drive that the Raiders have really found a rhythm on, and they have a flag. Dave Wyman bringing down Harvey Williams. It will go against Los Angeles.
That's a holding call right there, Charlie. Thrown by Jerry Markbright, the referee.
And that will be their 6th penalty.
Offense.
Plus 2 that were not accepted.
Second down.
A penalty against Don Mosbar working at center. Mosbar has been bothered by a bad ankle. In fact, the last couple of games he's had a hard time finishing things up, mainly because they can't push off that ankle. And you see what the Raiders, I guess you'd say, accomplished last week. if you accomplish 17 penalties. You know, they complain a lot here in Los Angeles of some sort of a paranoia that the league's after them. People want to call penalties. I disagree. I think this is a team that plays hard but commits an awful lot of dumb mistakes.
Hostetler to throw. Tim Brown, little inside fake. He goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line, maybe the 12. A gain of 13. It'll be about 3 yards shy of the first down. Dennis Smith and Ray Crockett finally stop it.
And once again, it's Jeff Hostetler throwing a good timing pattern. Look at Tim Brown. You see that technique? People think being a wide receiver is just sort of going out there and catching the ball, and that's a wonderful job by Tim Brown, the shoulder fakes and the shakes.
3rd down and 3, well within field goal range. Tim Brown, the motion man. He is being picked up by a spy on the other side. This is knocked away. Pass is incomplete. It will be 4th down, and Jeff Jager will come in with a field goal attempt. Simon Fletcher knocked this one away.
You know, the reason they're going to kick a field goal here is the technique and the hard work of Tim Brown. Watch number 81, the inside receiver. Push off, push off. See the shakes and the moves and what that has to do to a defensive back. I made the point at the beginning of this game that the corners are challenged because of the man coverage. Those shakes and those moves give you some idea how difficult the corner's job is staying with the wide receiver.
29-yard field goal attempt by Jeff Jager. And this one is a bit on the low side, but he nails it through. As he has now hit from 44 and 29 yards, and the Raiders move on top of Denver in the ballgame by a score of 6-0. Wednesday at 9/8 Central Time, be sure to catch Bob Hope's Christmas show. Bob will be joined by the 1994 AP All-American team, Tony Bennett, Lindsey Wagner, and the 1995 Rose Queen. Plus, see the greatest moments from his all-time Christmas shows. That's the Bob Hope Christmas show, Hopes for the Holidays, Wednesday at 9/8 Central Time here on NBC. So offensively for the Raiders, it's been just a pair of field goals. Denver's defense has taken up the slack, but their offense has not in any way, shape, or form replaced the missing John Elway.
Well, so far in that last drive, Charlie, the Raiders offense at least established a personality. They ran the ball, they completed passes, and they ran some timing stuff. Right now, Hugh Millen and the Denver Broncos offense there's more personality in a mannequin in a store window than there is in this Denver Broncos offense right now, and that's directly attributable to the fact that John Elway isn't there and that Hugh Millen's in there, and this offense is very uncomfortable with their quarterback, and their quarterback seems very uncomfortable at decision point right now for the Broncos.
Raiders lead it 6-0, 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first half. Moving up on the return is Glenn Milburn. Milburn to the 29-yard line where he is stood up there, and he may get to the 30 where they'll spot the ball, and Denver will go to work now with 3 minutes and 2 seconds left in the second quarter.
Let's look at an offensive comparison here. Now, what's that tell you right now? I talked about a little personality. Now, the Raiders aren't tearing things up. They're making mistakes. They're making dumb mistakes. They're getting penalties, but they're moving the ball. They're getting some first downs. Denver right now has got no rhythm and has got no personality.
Reggie Rivers and Derek Clark are the running backs. Rivers goes in motion. Three-step drop pass is complete.
Pass is complete to Shannon Sharp.
And he goes to the missing man, Shannon Sharp. And he has to be the key point. You've mentioned this a couple of times. He has to be the main man.
And you have to be willing to take these kind of passes with Shannon Sharp because, after all, he's sort of the hybrid tight end, and you're going to throw the ball short to him, and he's going to get some 1-yard gains, some 2-yard gains, some 3-yard gains. He's very, very dangerous for a tight end after he catches the ball, and he's especially deadly up the seam.
His second reception of the ball game, 2nd and 7. Millen stands in over the middle. It is Shannon Sharp. He's got the first down, 47-yard line.
Well, we showed you a little while ago John Elway in Hugh Millen's face, and I made the point about Shannon Sharp. Maybe that's what he did tell him. Find 84 and let's get him the ball and get this offense going.
And Shannon Sharp is playing on a left foot that he'll have to have operated on with bone spurs, a right ankle that is bothering him, and a left knee problem. But he can get it done. 2-minute warning. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, they're getting the ball to Shannon Sharp, and they're showing a little personality. Watch the center, Waddell, working against McLaughlin here. You don't put up with any guff. Things get a little physical. You take a guy's helmet off, and you go back after him.
Sharp has 3 receptions. This time it's Reggie Rivers who pulls it in, and he goes out of bounds, Raider territory, outside the 46-yard line. Terry McDaniel was there, and that stops the clock. 1:54 time remaining.
Hey, Simon, we're not keeping you up, babe, are we? Simon Fletcher. What?
It's those quick naps.
That's a power nap there. That wasn't a quick nap. But right now, this offense for Denver is not. They are not napping much at all. They got some rhythm, and gee, what do you know? They're getting a little personality moving this ball.
2nd down and 4. Play action fake. Here's pressure. Flag is down, as is the quarterback, Hugh Millen. But there was a marker dropped at the 47-yard line.
Rob Fredrickson, the young linebacker, he just shed the block immediately, was right all over Hugh Millen.
Offside, number 93 defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty.
That is Jerry Ball, and that is the 7th penalty. 2 have been declined against the Raiders in the first half. That is the kind of penalty that drives Art Shell to distraction.
Yeah, really it is. It's a lineup like that is sort of inexcusable. And even for a Jerry Ball who's made his living his entire career of crowding the neutral zone as much as it is. In fact, I mean, he's big enough to be his own neutral zone by himself.
So rather than the sack and the loss, it's a first down for Denver.
Can't get any closer than that to the ball.
Millen with the blitz coming up the middle. It is Shannon Sharp, 25, 20, slips a tackle. He's to the 10, he's to the 6-yard line. 35 yards on the play. And Shannon Sharp has his 4th reception of the ball game.
If you're going to blitz Millen and you're going to come after him, one of the problem is, remember what I said, this is a tight end that can run with the ball after he catches it. Being covered by Hoskins, the safety, he just runs away from him once, runs away from him twice. He'd have scored if he could have got away from him that 3rd time, but Hoskins finally brought him down. But that is a tight end that runs with the ball after the catch better than any other tight end in the NFL.
And Denver wants a timeout. We'll step aside. Raiders lead it 6-0. Denver's at the 6. Just over 1 minute left in the first half. Raiders have a 6-0 lead on a pair of field goals. Shannon Sharp now 4 receptions, 59 yards.
You saw Hugh Millen talking there to Jim Fossil, his offensive coordinator, and this offense, this is that West Coast offense. This is tight end time. You saw yesterday, Cleveland defense backed up, 6 seconds to go, throw the ball just short of the goal line. Cleveland wins the game. Who they throw it to? Jay Novacek, the tight end. These offenses love to take advantage of the tight end, either in motion or quick over the middle.
First and goal. The handoff inside to Reggie Rivers, and he is stuffed at the 10. Chester McLaughlin was waiting on him.
Well, Chester McLaughlin almost gets his handoff. He and Nolan Harrison are all over the backfield. I mean, when you lose 4 yards, that means the defensive tackle is making the stop at the exchange point in the backfield.
40 seconds and counting. Second and goal at the 10.
They're going to attack you like this, Charlie. You got to think maybe play action would suck up a few defensive linemen and linebackers.
Russell in motion. Denver 2 timeouts remaining. Here comes the blitz and the sack. Winston Moss. He got it. That is his first sack. A flag dropped at the 2-yard line.
And I think you're right, Wade. I think that's defensive holding against the Raiders.
Holding number 24, defense. 5-yard penalty.
Patrick Bates.
First down.
Wow, is that big. Denver offense just really starting to feel their oats, moving the ball. The Raiders start attacking and stop him. And look, who they holding? Shannon Sharp down the field, past the 5-yard line.
And that is the 8th penalty against the Raiders in the first half.
I'll tell you one thing about Shannon Sharp. He will run on you. He will make moves on you. And he's like his brother. He will talk to you when you make a mistake. And he was all over Patrick Bates about that hold. You saw him nodding at him.
Sharp is coming out of the lineup. Derek Clark and Reggie Rivers are the running backs. Play action fake. Millen scrambles. In trouble. He throws underneath the coverage. A flag is down. 2 flags are down in the end zone. I really think that he was throwing it away because he couldn't get to the receiver.
Who do you think Winston Moss thinks it's on?
Pass interference, number 99, defense. In the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
Now, what do you think Winston Moss told us yesterday? And I know he's disappointed because John Elway is not making the play, because he said, you know, I hate John Elway. I don't like John Elway. I said, have you met him? He said, no, but I don't like him.
There's Winston Moss. That is a good call. That is clearly pass interference, trying to guard Reggie Rivers there. The beginning of this drive was all of the Broncos making. The last 2 plays are all of the Raiders making, and it's a negative making right now for the Raiders, giving this Bronco offense the ball on the 1-yard line. This is not a power-running offensive line. They have to do it outside.
First and goal, play action fake. And it is incomplete.
And Chester McLaughlin was in that backfield in a flash and was all over Hugh Millen on that play.
So it'll be second and goal. Jerry Evans, the intended receiver.
Charlie, this is a young defensive tackle. Chester McLaughlin is taking his place right now among the elite at his position. Middle of the screen, watch Millen drop back and get immediate company. Chester McLaughlin working against Dave Waddell. You saw Waddell rip his helmet off earlier, and right that time he kind of ripped Waddell right back into the quarterback.
12 seconds left in the half. It is not there. A loss of a yard, maybe of a yard and a half. Denver will take a timeout. 8 seconds left. Reggie Rivers is dropped by Jerry Ball.
Remember what I said 2 plays ago, Charlie? This is not a power blocking offensive line. What it does best is run outside, because they move a little bit, but they are not very strong. They get penetration in the middle. And look at the penetration by Fredrickson and McLaughlin and Ball.
And a player is down for the Raiders.
That's Chester McLaughlin down on the field.
Now that is the second time that he has been nicked in the ball game. And the first time you thought he caught a stinger in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if that guy's down on the ground, he doesn't get hit down by a BB. You got to bring yourself a big old howitzer shell to put 91 on the ground, because this guy is strong. There's a lot of guys out there that are big. Chester McLaughlin, remember, we stand next to this guy. This guy he's big. He's big package big. Yeah. I mean, he's got a big head. He's got big shoulders. He's got big everything.
Big shadow falls across you when the sun's behind you. And now the Raiders want to take a timeout.
You saw McLaughlin running that arm around a little bit. That's to get that stinger runs down that shoulder, and you lose a little strength in your arm. That's the exact reason he's having his arm pulled and his head his head is being worked right there as to get the blood and get the feeling back in that shoulder.
Coming up at halftime, the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, and Joe Gibbs will update you on all the scores and highlights and the playoff picture. It is really exciting. Plenty of key games being played today. We'll also have Bob Costas' interview with Ken Norton Jr. of the 49ers. Norton talks about the strained relationship with his father, Ken Norton Sr., the former heavyweight champion of the world. It's all coming up at halftime.
McLaughlin back into the game right here.
Now he can come back in because the Raiders took the timeout. They bought him back in the ballgame with the timeout. That's what they did.
Now with McLaughlin back in, you see Jerry Ball's in there, that whole defensive line. This Raiders line will attack low and hard. The Broncos don't block well low in the middle. You got to run outside, or you got here with Shannon Sharp. Why don't you let him score the touchdown?
It will be 3rd down and goal when we get back to the ball game. Now, Jerry Ball had come to the side to shout some instructions or to take some instruction from Art Shell, and then he had gone back out, and Denver was kind of wandering out of the huddle. And Jerry McBride came over, and now we'll put it all back together and start over one more time.
Watch two things. Keep an eye out for number 84, and watch the penetration of the defensive line of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Shannon Sharp is on the flank, and now he comes across in motion. Millen rolls. He's looking for him, looks back, and he's throwing it away. He got to the sideline. There was nowhere to go. It'll be 4th and goal at the 2.
And Charlie, he was trying to get that ball to Shannon Sharp in the back of the end zone.
And we have 1 second left in the first half. And Jason Elam will try and pull Denver within 3. Now, he has already hit from 54 yards. This one is from 20.
You don't think Wade Phillips on the sideline telling me either go down, get out of bounds, or throw it to stop that clock, do you?
And hurry. Make up your mind. And the Raiders will now take a timeout. The Raiders remaining schedule, they are at Seattle, then in 2 weeks home to Kansas City, Denver at San Francisco next Saturday. San Francisco, by the way, leading San Diego 21-0 in that ball game. Then Denver will have New Orleans at home. San Diego goes to New York, then has Pittsburgh at home. Kansas City is at Miami on Monday night, then they have Houston at home, and then they are here at the Raiders. So the West is still up for grabs.
Well, definitely. You know, San Francisco is turning the Chargers today into a speed bump down there at the Murph in San Diego. And if the San Diego Chargers can't make a game of that, can't come back and can't beat the 49ers today, they can start making their New Year's Eve party reservations right now because they're not going to the playoffs.
They will be struggling against the Jets in New York. They've not played well in the Eastern time zone. And here's the 20-yard field goal attempt. A high snap, but pulled down, and it is good. Give credit to Jeff Campbell with the hold. The snap was high. It is good. It is 6-3. That is the score at halftime. Raiders lead by 3 as we will go across country to Greg Gumbel in New York City. Here in Los Angeles at halftime, the Raiders leading the Denver Broncos by a score of 6-3. And in case you joined us late, John Elway not playing in the ballgame, Hugh Millen the quarterback, and my feeling is that Denver is playing just about as well as they possibly can without John Elway. Their defense really has picked it up.
If you love offense, you haven't seen a game you really like, but if you like defense, the defenses on both sides of the ball have really played exceptionally well. I think there's two things you got to look at. One is the Raiders can't make the mistakes that they made penalty-wise in the first half. Really some dumb mistake. What, 9 penalties?
9 penalties
in the first half, and there were 2 declined. I mean, it should have been 11. You can't have that. The other mistake I think the Raiders can make right now is letting this Denver team hang. This team has got so much faith in itself. You let them hang, they're going to beat you.
All right, let's go down to the field, and here's Bob Goley. Bob?
Thanks, Charlie. I had a chance to talk to Art coming off the field, and luckily they didn't score because nobody wants to talk to Art after the team has just been scored upon. You know, he's real happy, obviously, with what's happening with the defense. He said offensively, the blitzing and some of the pressure that's coming from the Denver defense is kind of throwing them off a little bit, throwing them off their rhythm, forcing them to make the long throw, and really not allowing them to get into a smooth rhythm for the offense. He said second half they have to come back, reestablish the run game a little bit, and kind of go to some of the short passes.
All right, thank you, Bob. The Denver Broncos with 4 sacks in the first half, and they had only 12 all year coming into the ballgame.
And that's Bob makes a great point with Art Shell's comments about the short passing game, because that's how the Raiders moved the ball down the field on their last possession. The little short one to Tim Brown, let him run with it. Little short one to Ishmael, let him run with it. Get your running game going, but keep the pressure off of Hostetler.
Hostetler had a little more rhythm in that whole offensive drive on the last one.
It's easier to have rhythm on 3- and 5-step drops when somebody isn't busting your chops.
All right, Jeff Jager to kick it away as we start the second half. And Glenn Milburn takes it at the 9. Now he's out to the 20, cuts to the near side, up the silent. Good return. And out of bounds in front of the Raider bench at the 38-yard line. 29 yards on the return. And the Denver Broncos will go to work as we open the third quarter. We'll look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
And really, the part of these halftime stats that impressed me the most in the first half was the way things went for the Raiders their last couple of possessions and the yardage that they gained. They got most of that 172 yards in their last 2 possessions or so. The part that impressed me the least was their ability to continually shoot themselves in the foot with their penalties.
And the Raiders with a 5-minute advantage in time of possession. Here's Derek Clark. And Clark to the 45-yard line. So he opens with 7. It'll be second down and 3. Now tell me something. Why the second half of every ball game, every coach always says the same thing. We have to establish the running game. Now why is that?
Well, because usually they haven't been running in the first half, and their quarterback's been getting hammered, which both these quarterbacks have been getting hammered. And if this Denver offense can establish a run, Wade Phillips knows that an inexperienced human can get things done.
And here is Derek Clark. Ball comes loose. It is recovered by the Raiders at the 43-yard line. First turnover of the ball game. Patrick Bates recovers the fumble.
Now what you're going to see right here is you're going to see Derek Clark running with the ball, and this will be an error of effort. Trying to make things happen, stumbling, going on the arm, but not protecting the ball when he gets down to the ground. Let's see where he was when the ball comes out. Just before he gets to the ground, that was not caused by contact. Just before he's going to the ground, not maintaining the ball maintenance, the ball gets loose.
And a good call by the officials as the Raiders take over on the first turnover of the ball game. And they have the ball at their own 43-yard line, leading 6-3.
And if you're the Denver defense, keep changing it up. Keep Hostetler guessing, but mainly keep attacking.
And here is Williams to the outside. And he's going to pick up 4 or 5 before Simon Fletcher makes the tackle.
Brought down by Simon Fletcher.
And with these running backs for the Raiders, that's all this offensive line really needs to do is man up, get some sort of a solid block on a defender. And the Denver defense is not the fastest defense in the world. And when you get surface on a blocker, a fast running back like a Calvin Jones or like Williams will get around you in a heartbeat.
Second down and 5. Tim Brown in motion. Hostetler comes to Brown. He pulls it in. He has the first down. Mentioned in the first half that Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, we asked him yesterday what would be the reaction of this year's Heisman Trophy winner before the announcement was made yesterday afternoon. And he said, well, it will change the young man's life. He will never, ever be the same again. He will always be Heisman Trophy winner.
Right there, Tim Brown is doing something that he does extremely well. With short patterns, get the ball, and get as many yards as you can once you catch it.
Denver 40-yard line, of course, for Sean Salam of Colorado, the Heisman Trophy winner yesterday. You'll see him on NBC in the Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame. Here's the pass far side, Harvey Williams. Inside the 35 to the 34, maybe the 33-yard line before Ray Crockett can bring him down.
Last couple possessions that Hostetler's been in this game right now for the Raiders. You've seen that short passing game that Bob Golick talked about that Art Shell wanted to emphasize, and that's given Jeff Hostetler a rhythm. It's gotten his passing percentage up to 50% right now, and it's kept the pass rush off him. Watch as he drops. He'll go 3 steps or he'll go 5 steps. When he hits that last step, that ball is on its way out.
Second down and 3. And here's Harvey Williams. And he is goes to the first down. He needs to get to the 30. He may not have quite made it. Raiders lead in the ball game 6-3. We're almost 3 minutes deep into the second half as Mike Kroll and Darrell Hall make the tackle.
Remember, this drive was all set up by that fumble by Derek Clark, right into the fumbled the ball into the Raider territory there. And right now the Raiders have gotten this thing, and using Harvey Williams and using the short passing game are starting to develop what you refer to as sort of a brutally efficient type of a drive. See Derek Clark on the sideline, 43.
They'll bring the chains out for the measurement. And it's exactly what, hold on to the ball.
Hold on to the ball. Ball maintenance.
Don't try and make too much out of it when it's not there. Third down.
Now remember what we talked about when the Broncos had the ball at the end of the first half, that the Bronco offensive line was not a very good power blocking line. The Raiders offensive line is extremely big, and Wade Phillips knows this offensive line with Archell's direction lets him come off the ball.
Quick quarterback sneak by Hostetler, and he has the first down as he goes to the 29-yard line.
See, remember last time the sneak was run on a regular basis by Denver, John Elway gets hurt. Difference is on this play, Jeff Hostetler is getting that push up the field, and where Elway got hurt last week against Kansas City, things collapsed on him from the outside. He got such good push there, did Hostetler. There was no one to collapse on the legs as John Elway had happened to him last week.
First down, 29-yard line of Denver. Jim Brown goes across in motion. Hostetler to throw, comes out firing very quickly. It's dropped. Rocket Ishmael.
Where am I going with this one?
But I got there too quickly because I didn't bring the ball with me.
I'm thinking ball. I look at the point. I'm going to catch it. Suddenly the mind starts to go, and you're starting to think, how many tackles do I break to score? Oh, you got to be kidding me, Jeff says.
Hostetler now 9 of 19, 128 yards. And it's 2nd and 10. Gets a little lob over the middle, and it is over the head of Tom Rathman. He wanted a touch on it, and he had too much.
Yeah, that was a lot of lob. He needed a little lob. Little lob would have gone about 7 yards, and Rathman would have caught it.
3rd down and 10. The ball at the 29-yard line. So Hostetler has been struggling. He has had more time to throw here in the second half than he did early on in the first half.
And that's been because of the timing patterns. I mean, his statistics look bad. It's not so much that he's throwing the ball bad. It's the great job that the Broncos have done confusing and blitzing.
Now he stands in, and this one is incomplete at the 18-yard line. Ishmael, the intended receiver, had a shot at it but couldn't pull it in. So it'll be 4th down. And Jeff Jager will come out with his 3rd field goal attempt of the afternoon.
This is set up. He can't step into this throw because Harold Hasselbeck, 96, right there, puts one right in his chops as he goes to throw the ball. I mean, Ishmael is open. He could have gotten that ball, but Hasselbeck disrupts the throw.
And a 47-yard field goal attempt by Jager. He is hit from over 50. And this one comes back inside the upright, and it is good. So Jeff Jager 3 for 3 this afternoon, and the Raiders lead it 9-3. Jones, Randy Cross, and Bob Golick. Jeff Jager will be kicking it away. Glenn Milburn and Jeff Campbell are the deep backs on the return for Denver. They now trail 9-3. Here at the 14-yard line is Milburn out to the 20, the 25, and he's out of bounds at that point, where Denver will go to work. Next Sunday, a big lineup here on NBC. New England Buffalo, San Diego against the Jets. If you're watching the West, that is a big one. The Chargers are losing 21-3 at halftime to the 49ers. The big one in the second half is Cleveland-Pittsburgh. Houston, Kansas City also, of course, involved in the West. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, they are both in the playoffs. They will be fighting for home field advantage. Big ball game. Cleveland coming off with a win over Dallas yesterday. And Pittsburgh, they continue to will surprise everybody with one of the toughest defenses that you will find in the NFL. Should be a good ball game from the 25. Millen fires. Shannon Sharpe. He'll stretch out to the 30-yard line. Albert Lewis with the tackle. Denver and the Raiders both now with San Diego stumbling, have their own fate, because the Raiders leading here right now. They, of course, with their 2 games remaining at Seattle, and then they have Kansas City home here in 2 weeks. Denver at San Francisco. That will be tough for them, of course, coming up next week. And then they are home with New Orleans. The standings that we were talking about just a moment ago. There is our visual backup with the ball at the 30-yard line into the 2nd and 5. Millen sets, throws underneath the coverage. Pass is complete. Once again, it is Shannon Sharpe.
Well, they're getting the right guy involved, Charlie. I mean, they came out running on that first possession. It ended up being a fumble by Derek Clark. And what this Denver Bronco team does best is they mix things up. Hugh Millen and this offense learned a long time ago that, you can't just run the ball and try to go to passing occasionally. And then they said, what the heck, we'll just try throwing it all the time. That didn't work very well for them either. So they've got to mix this in just right and keep Millen out of the 3rd and longs. This is 3rd and short.
A flag is down. Reggie Rivers will be close to the first down if the play stands up.
Well, Chester McLaughlin was all over him in the backfield. You have to think he either lined up offsides or jumped offsides.
Offside. Number 94, defense, lined up in the neutral zone.
That is
5-yard
Anthony
penalty.
Smith.
First down.
That is the 10th penalty of the ball game. The first of the second half to go with 9 in the first half and 2 that were declined.
See, Art Shell not really happy about that, because that, like we talked about in the first half, is something he can do something about. You can do something about your guys lining up offsides. At least you think you can do something about it. Where the Raiders have been the last couple of weeks, maybe not.
Denver a first down at the 38. Here's a sweep to this side with Milburn. Has a bit of an opening, and he slides through to the 43, just a step away from really breaking a big one. Derek Hoskins with a tackle.
This ends up, Charlie, being a good run to the left, but watch 91 shoot right through the gap. You're not going to get him, Zimmerman. You're not going to block down on McLaughlin. You have got to get your head in front of this guy, because he is going to just flat out attack the ball. But he doesn't get there in time, and they're starting to go to a weapon we thought they'd use more in the first half, and that's Glenn Milburn. A very conservative game plan early, like we mentioned at coming out of the half. If they let Denver hang, Denver will try to steal it at the end of the half.
Millen to throw from the shotgun. It is knocked down, and a flag goes down.
What's the matter, really, I think, of who that hit, Charlie. If that hit the offensive lineman, Habib, in the back, that's touched by an illegal receiver.
Just a little sidebar. Denver has 8 first downs.
Ooh, a chop block.
Denver 8 first downs in the ball game, 5 by penalty.
Personal foul, illegal chop block. Number 64, offense, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Now watch Melander, John Melander, the guard, working against McLaughlin, 91. Watch what happens. He's up. So you know why they do that? Waddell, the center, 79, has got contact right there. When there's contact by one offensive lineman, the other offensive lineman cannot block down low. That is an illegal chop block. They outlawed that a few years back. Actually, being an offensive lineman, that used to be kind of fun to do defensive lineman when it was legal.
And so the ball goes back to the 29-yard line. It is 2nd down, Millen to throw. Pass is complete underneath the coverage to Anthony Miller, his first reception of the ball game. He goes streaking up to the 50-yard line and the first down. And that was 2nd and 19. 21 yards on the play.
How about a little blur here? There's guys that are fast. Then there's guys that are sort of blurs. Watch Miller watch this thing. Watch him catch it. Now it's just forget it. I see the sticks. I'm faster than you. I'm getting there first. James Trapp, 37.
Woo. Anthony Miller, 51 receptions. That is his 51st. He has 3 consecutive 100-yard-plus games. That is a Denver Bronco club record. Miller to throw, stumbles as he goes back. He was looking at a 4-man rush plus a couple of blitzers.
It's kind of a 4.5-man rush, Charlie, because Jerry Ball was there. a guy and a half when he's coming free up the middle. And, you know, your feet do some funny things when your brain's telling you you're in trouble. Full out blitz. Winston Moss is coming. Beakert's coming inside. The defensive line stunning out. And like I said, sometimes the safest and the best place to go is to the ground.
Second down and 19. 7:24 and counting. Time remaining third quarter. Raiders are up 9-3.
I think one of his teammates will take that divot off his helmet.
Here comes a blitz again. Steps away. And he is running free. 40-yard line, hits to the far side. 35-yard line. We asked him about his speed, and he said, well, you know, and we asked Wade Phillips, said he gets a lot of kidding, but he's faster than people realize.
When you blitz a lot, that puts you in man. Watch the hole that is created by the man coverage. There is nobody to be responsible in a zone. Everyone's run off. Everyone's gone away. Look at that. What a great job there by Millen. And that is all set up by the fact that the offensive line manages to hold out the defensive line, Chester McLaughlin, and the blitzers.
Hugh Millen, 24 yards, first down, Raider 35-yard line. And he wants a timeout. So the Broncos burn their first time out of the second half. Raiders have the lead 9-3. We'll be back in a moment.
24-yard scramble right there. You know, Jim Fossil had a great story about him. Says we put the clock to him on his 21-yard scramble last week to set up the winning field goal against Kansas City. And Fossil says it took him 3.5 seconds to go 21 yards. So I figured just under 7 seconds for the 40-yard dash should be about right. But, you know, he wasn't very fast. He was just fast enough.
Here's Glenn Milburn off of the right side. The Raiders stepped into the neutral zone, but stepped back just in time.
Yeah, it was Chester McLaughlin that ran up, got off sides, hopped back, got double teamed. And you see him getting up off the ground. He still got another tackle. Watch the job this guy does. Sometimes linemen tend to relax, offensive linemen. See him jump, stand up, get back, get double teamed. Somehow manage to still push through and create the pile that causes the tackle.
Second down and 9. Russell comes across in motion. Millen throwing from the shotgun into triple coverage. He was going to Anthony Miller. Miller drew everybody on this side of the Rosico.
Wow.
Oh, they were all there.
Yeah, well, you should put the phone number 1-800-TEETH on the end of this ball, because that's what he's going to need is new teeth if you throw too many balls into a defense like that. You got McDaniel on the backside holding them up. Look at this. Watch this. Yeah, sorry about that. You know I didn't mean it, did you?
That's right. Or better you than me. Third down and 9. Miller has a man. Miller has a man open down the sideline. It is Milburn, and he is to the 1-yard line. Glenn Milburn slipped behind the secondary and picked up 33 yards to the 1.
Remember we talked about this game being a game of matchups, looking for the right matchups on your man. You can't have Milburn being chased by Rob Frederickson, the linebacker. That is a speed mismatch. And you know what this sets up? This sets up a first and goal on the 1. Remember where Denver was at the end of the first half. They don't power block well, Charlie. You got to either get it to Sharp or get it outside.
They have been there before, and they couldn't push it in, as you were talking about. They'll take a timeout. This is their second timeout of the second half. 4:55 left in the third. Shannon Sharp pleads his case as we come back. When we left you, Shannon Sharp was pleading his case for the Denver Broncos. It'll be first down and goal to go at the 1.
Last time they had the ball down there, Millen tried to get it to him in the back of the end zone. Couldn't do it. If you throw it, it's got to be a quick shot or a quick fade or run it outside.
He comes in motion. They go inside, and there is no signal from the officials. Reggie Rivers is stopped inches away from the end zone.
And still trying to crawl. Watch the penetration by the offensive line. Watch the penetration by the defense. A nice job by Frederickson and Beekert. Frederickson first down low. Beekert up high. It's offsides right now.
The handoff inside to Reggie Rivers, and he is stopped. And actually, he's going to lose about a foot. Beekert again was there for the Raiders. Albert Lewis saying, I have the football. The officials say, congratulations, belongs to Denver.
Remember last time we were down here at the end of the first half?
Yes.
The job of the penetration by the Raiders defense. Watch that. Is that attacking? Wow. Did you see Andre Bruce? He just took Kurt Sprafford, the offensive tackle, and pasted him back on his rear.
Third down, goal to go. It's not there. Reggie Rivers will lose yardage out to the 3, maybe the 4-yard line. The Raiders defense with their second goal line stand of the ballgame.
Remember, Charlie, a game of matchups. And the Raiders like the physical matchups between their lines and the Broncos lines. And the defensive line of the Los Angeles Raiders are all over the top of the offensive line of the Broncos, and Hugh Millen knows this ain't going well, boys.
Jason Elam, 21-yard field goal attempt. It is to the right, but it goes through, and the Denver Broncos pull within 3. Raiders lead it 9-6 back with the kickoff.
You like defense, you like line play, watch the penetration on third down. Andre Bruce, 56, just plants Kirk Sprafford in the backfield. Fourth down, why don't you do it again? Just penetrate, get Jerry Ball, get Nolan Harrison, get Andre Bruce, get the whole gang back there. That was dominant, physical football by the Raiders and wimpish, soft football by the Broncos.
6 plays, first and goal, 1-yard line. Denver not been able to push it into the end zone. Here's the kick. Rocket Ismail from the 5. He's to the 15, 20. Has a bit of an opening and is decked around the 27-yard line. And Richard Harvey got in for Denver. We'll step aside. We'll be back to the Coliseum in a moment.
Greg Gumbel back in New York with a reminder about our terrific doubleheader coming your way next Sunday. NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern Time. The big 1 o'clock game is New England at Buffalo. Patriots have won 5 straight. We won't know Jim Kelly's status. He has an MRI coming tomorrow. The doubleheader game is Cleveland at Pittsburgh. The winner, in all likelihood, wins the AFC Central. Here is the full slate of games. Some good stuff coming your way next Sunday. Let's take you back to Los Angeles.
It's just past the 3 o'clock hour here on the West Coast. The sun just beginning to start to set in the west.
Well, we are in Los Angeles. I grew up here. I mean, that's no big deal.
That's your friend Gypsy Booth, right?
Gypsy Booth, yeah. You see him all the time at the UCLA campus. One of a kind.
And speaking of one of a kind, here is Harvey Williams behind the blocking on the left side of the line for the Raiders. And he will go from the 27 to the 34, where Shane Drunett makes the tackle.
Look at the splits. The space between the linemen. The key for the Raiders now is to get these splits and physically establish a drive. Wisniewski, great job blocking one-on-one. Tom Rathman, good lead block. But those splits will create the holes for the running backs to run into and get a drive going.
2nd and 3. Williams to the outside, has the first down. Just a step away from breaking it for 25 or 30 yards. Darrell Hall had a piece of him. 14 carries, 67 yards for Harvey Williams.
The defense had their dominant physical run on the last goal line stand. Offensively, the way to have a dominant physical run is to put your big offensive linemen on their guys and let your running back just get it. And right now, last 2 plays, Harvey Williams has gotten it.
44 yards, 44-yard line, a gain of 10. That's the total that I mentioned. Hostetler, little play action fake. Tim Brown has it, circles inside. 48-yard line of Denver. Darrell Hall again with a tackle.
And so the fight continues from the first half. You saw Ben Smith and Tim Brown slugging it out and going at it. Keeps going. Ben Smith playing way off of Tim Brown, and when you play off him, you give him a chance to do what he does best, and that's run with the ball after he catches it.
And what has Tim Brown done today? 6 receptions, 73 yards. And the Raiders go back to the ground. It was 2nd down and 2. Calvin Jones getting the call.
You know, we saw the big gaps and everything that happened and the holes that opened up. Watch the defense. Everything moves into the ball on the snap of the ball. Watch them attack with the blitz of the linebackers, the blitz of the safeties. Nothing happens. It doesn't matter how big the splits are when people are slanting and blitzing into them. That's a good counter by Charlie Waters and his defense.
23 seconds left in the third. It is 3rd down and 3. They're going to stop the play in illegal formation. They had 2 men in motion at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
When the first man comes in motion, he has to stop a full second before the second man can
Delay
go.
of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, they ran out of time, Art, and they had 2 guys moving. But we'll only give you 1 penalty on that one.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8. That is the 2nd penalty of the second half. And now 11 in the ball game for the Raiders, plus 2 that were declined. And they're going right after that NFL record. Remember, they needed 21 to tie, and they've already got 11 of that. The rest of this ball game and 2 other games remaining. And we'll take the countdown to the official end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Raiders 9, Denver 6. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. This is Charlie Jones, Randy Cross, Bob Golick. 9-6 Raiders lead by 3 as we start the 4th quarter. And they face a 3rd down and 8. And Hostetler goes deep down the far side, has a man to flag him. Ishmael got behind Ben Smith.
And for the first time today, the Broncos give up that big play they have so far stopped. Tim Brown has 6 catch. Ishmael had 1, and they had stopped the big play. But watch, he beats him at the line. The quick arm over, he's asking for it. Smith actually holds him again. Then he flat out runs him over to get the penalty.
Hostetler's reaction, remember that was 3rd down and 8. That turns out to be a 42-yard penalty.
Whether it's by penalty or by catch, it's the exact type of big play that Phillips and his entire Broncos team trying to avoid here against the Raiders. If you don't give them big plays, Wade Phillips knows you got a chance of hanging late and beating the Raiders.
12-yard line, 1st down.
Can the Denver Broncos be as physical as the Raiders in goal line and short yardage?
Harvey Williams over the top. He's got a couple. They're going to mark it just short of the 9. So it'll be 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, we had a chance twice now, Charlie. End of the first half and the last possession by Denver to see the Raiders defense really bowing up and playing strong. The Denver defense is getting a chance to kind of disprove a mismatch because this is one of the matchups that the Raiders like. The physical matchup between the defensive line of the Broncos and their offensive line.
2nd down. Here's Harvey Williams, cuts back, stumbles a bit. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. They're going to mark him down at the 8-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 6. As Alexander and Dave Wyman were both there for the Broncos.
Harvey Williams is a little disappointed, and you're about to see why. Watch him go with a quick flip, and look at the hole he sees right here. Unfortunately, his brain was about a half a step ahead of his feet, and the feet couldn't hold up because that would have been a touchdown, I think, for the Los Angeles Raiders if he hits that hole as fast as he looked like he was going.
And if Denver can hold them here, they would force the Raiders to a field goal. Hostetler scrambles, still on his feet, finally is pulled down. He hung in as long as he could, but that will be the 5th sack of the ball game for the Broncos.
And that sack is by his biggest nemesis today from the Broncos defense, Shane Drenette, 99. Watch Drenette goes by him once. He's on the ground. Gets off the ground and gets him. Willie Oshedin, 91, goes over the top, and Drenette gets him again.
4 hurries, 2 knockdowns, 5 sacks, 1 deflection. Field goal attempt now from 30 yards away.
So far for Hostetler, no migraines though, Charlie.
And this one is good. And the Raiders move on top 12-6. Back with the kickoff. There have been a total of 6. There's got to be a comment on this somewhere. A total of 6 field goals.
Yeah,
he was one of them.
Which one was the troll doll is my question.
All right, Jeff Jager will kick off. 12:49. Time remaining in the ballgame. And here is the return for the Broncos as Milburn heads to the far side. Cannot quite get it to the corner. He's down to the 25 and a flag is down.
Holding number 38 on the return. 10-yard penalty.
That's on Reggie Rivers.
Right from here, Chad.
Tonight on NBC, a program note, the all-new Earth 2, followed by the all-new Sequest, and then Christmas Vacation. That's all tonight here on NBC. So Denver will go to work at their own 14-yard line first down, trailing by 6. With just over 12 and a half minutes left to go in the ballgame. Here is Hugh Miller. And he hands off to Derek Clark. Clark's fumble in the ball game, the only turnover. Fredrickson in ball with the tackle. He's going to pick up about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
And what Clark needs right now from his offensive line up front is they have got to stop this Raiders defensive line from disrupting the offense. And that's exactly what Jerry Ball and Chester McLaughlin and Nolan Harrison have done so far today. They have disrupted the blocking patterns and total offense of the Broncos.
And Miller to throw. Comes to Shannon Sharp. He is out of bounds. Just shy of the 20-yard line. It's good for 3. Fredrickson was there, and we'll take an isolated look at Shannon. I imagine that his brother Sterling, that Green Bay won today, that he is looking in. They're great admirers of each other's talent.
And he's doing really what this offense does best. You asked him yesterday, you know, Shannon, at this point of 1994, what do the Denver Broncos do well? And he hesitates very little when he looks at you and he says, we throw short very, very well. And throwing short well means 2 things. You got to be very patient, and you got to have faith in the ability of your receivers to be able to make something happen after they catch it.
Shannon said, you know, my brother was the #1 choice and I was the #7 choice. I think he's just as proud of me as I am of him. And the swing to the far side to Milburn, and an outstanding defensive play. Rob Fredrickson in the open field.
Well, we saw Fredrickson on that last possession get burned by Milburn running down the field, matching speed on speed. Now here's more of a case on speed on muscle. You got him in a phone booth. And when you get a little guy in a phone booth with a big guy in a phone booth, the big guy is going to win that matchup.
Tom Royan will be kicking to Tim Brown. And Brown can give the Raiders excellent field position. He's to the 40. Good coverage by Denver. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line. A 45-yard kick, a 6-yard return. We'll be back in a moment. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle has been providing these aerial pictures. The Goodyear Blimp travels over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sporting events. 10 minutes and 46 seconds. That is the time remaining here this afternoon in the Coliseum. The Raiders have the ball and the lead, 12-6 at their own 43.
Now this is the point of the field, Charlie. You can make a mistake with a fumble or an interception. If an interception happens down here, it's usually in the middle of the field.
Here comes the blitz. Hostetler throws deep, has a man there, and it is incomplete. He was going to James Jett. Jett trying to get behind Ray Crockett. And I had the feeling that Hostetler had to let it go just a bit early. He wanted another step or another beat.
Well, they've tested Crockett a few times so far, and Crockett's held up quite well with it. I think it's time to continue over on the Ben Smith side. and go over there because Crockett is with him the whole way. See him stay with him and then turn his shoulders and run and hold him. Hold him, I said. That's a penalty. And get away with it.
And get away with it.
So it wasn't holding him. He didn't get caught.
2nd and 10. Hostetler over the middle. This is the fullback, Tom Rathman. And Rathman close to the first down. And he may just pick it up.
Little variety now. He's been throwing most of his passes to his receivers. He's got 2 to his halfback, Harvey Williams, and now the first one to the fullback position in Tom Rathman. Right over the middle, very steady. And you notice the way he covered that ball up with both arms before he went to the ground. That is why Derek Clark fumbled earlier. He did not cover the ball up at the very end, just like that.
The chain's out for the measurement. Just a smidgen. So it'll be 3rd down and a smidgen.
How many links is a smidgen?
3.5.
3.5? Okay. Somehow I can't picture that man using the word smidgen. You know, Art Shell knows what his offensive line in this situation. You can talk about running backs and whatnot, but he's got a quarterback that's as good as an offensive lineman from an attitude standpoint. And we saw what drive they got on the last time they used that quarterback sneak. Why not use it again?
And you saw the time remaining in the ball game, 10 minutes and 22 seconds. Hostetler with a little quarterback sneak. May not have made it. They pushed him back. He has gotten away with this before. And this time they kind of bent him away. It'll be 4th down and short.
I don't know. He got a pretty good pile crawl off
Did he?
of that one,
Underneath?
Charlie. They stopped his initial motion, but as the whole pile started falling, he kind of inched his way forward. I think he got this. But a nice job by the inside of that Denver defense, stuffing the Raiders' defensive line back. Just what we've seen Wade Phillips' offensive line get stuffed back. The defensive line of the Broncos just stuffed Art Shell's offensive line back into his quarterback's lap. I think it's down to a skosh.
That's that same smidgen.
You go for it here. 4th down. The way your defense is playing, and Jeff Hostetler says, don't even think about sending anybody out here. Wow. I don't think that sends a very good signal to your offense right there. Your defense is playing good. Your offense has done well.
Hostetler trying to talk him into going for it.
Well, do you say, Coach, we got timeouts. You can change your mind. They couldn't do it twice.
One number back to receive.
Got it in punt formation, and he may just sit and wait. A little pooch kick. And he nails it as it hits around the 3-yard line and comes back. It is going to be down at the 5. We'll be back in a moment.
You see the ball being held by Dan Turk, the offensive center now. Watch the defensive line for Denver get all the way back into the offense, into the body of the offensive line. Great penetration by that defensive line. There's Dan Turk who's in that center for Don Mosbar. We told you earlier about that ankle problem Mosbar's been having. Hasn't able to really push off real well late in the game. So far in that last play, Charlie, the Raiders' offensive line couldn't push off.
Denver starts just shy of their own 6-yard line. Here is Shannon Sharp. He pulls it in, steps out of bounds at the 11. Terry McDaniel was there. 9.5 minutes. That is the time remaining in the game. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5.
Now the offense has sputtered under Hugh Millen today, but this may be the part of the game and the part of the field, obviously, that the Denver Broncos missed number 7, John Elway, the most. Late in the game, down like they are, sort of, do you believe in a miracle? If it's a miracle now for the Broncos, it's a capital M miracle.
And here is Milburn on a sweep to the left side. Runs out of room as the defense of the Raiders simply strings him out, but the time he got to the corner, it was all covered in white, and he was out of bounds at the 11. Patrick Bates was there for the Raiders.
That might be his best run of the day, not to lose 10 yards. The way the defense penetrated. You know, John Elway has got to be a very frustrating situation for John Elway. He's not used to standing on the sideline with a baseball cap on his head in the fourth quarter with absolutely no input into the end of a Bronco game.
Third down, just under 5 to go for the first down. Here comes the blitz. Millen spins, throws, passes incomplete, 20-yard line. He was looking for Anthony Miller, and Albert Lewis had picked him up. It'll be fourth down, and Ruin will kick it away.
Charlie, watch the blitz as it comes on Hugh Millen here, but watch him spin out. He gets a little disoriented right here. He spins out, tries to come out of the spin and throws the ball. And I think that spin out really threw the whole pass off, threw his whole body language off, and he wasn't able to complete that.
Now the Raiders have set up a return. They have defenders on both of the wide men. They have double both of the outside men. And here comes the return. Tim Brown to the 20 and then out of bounds. The Raiders had set it up with their formation. They simply took away all of your downfield coverage. 41 yards of the kick, the counter punch, 29 yards. That could be the knockout for the Raiders.
And why this happens, you mentioned the double teams on the outside. Look, there are no gunners, as they're called. There's nobody downfield penetrating, trying to make things happen, because the Raiders and their special teams coach, Steve Ortmeyer, set it up in the perfect position, the perfect time, and great execution by the entire punt return team.
What the Raiders did on the two wide men on each side of the field, they put two defenders on each of them. They simply wouldn't let them downfield. Nobody else can go except those two with the kick.
Hostetler audibilizing here, being very careful. He knows he's going to get blitzed.
17-yard line. Has time over the middle. Touchdown Raiders. Tim Brown. There's a flag down. It is against the Raiders. That will nullify the touchdown, their third penalty of the second half.
Number 71, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Watch the penalty. The penalty's on the left tackle, Gerald Perry, number 71. Right in the middle of your screen, working against Simon Fletcher. Hands go in the shoulders. Oh, yeah. That's holding. You saw him pull the jersey, and he's doing that right in front of Jerry Markbite, the referee, whose job it is to protect the quarterback and keep an eye on any defensive lineman near the quarterback. That was in a very obvious spot, and I don't put that in the category of a smart hold, because he was not in danger of hitting the quarterback.
The 12th penalty of the ball game against the Raiders, and remember, they've also declined two. Here's the screen. Behind the screen's a fullback, Tom Rathman. Rathman inside the 20 to the 18-yard line, maybe the 17-yard line. Elijah Alexander with the tackle.
I made the point of ball maintenance and the way Tom Rathman holds on to the ball. Watch him do two things. Watch him set up the blocks, get in position, and when he gets in traffic, watch both arms go over the ball. Both arms are covering the ball and protecting that thing, because the last thing he wants to do down in this red zone is cough it up.
You have to wonder why the Raiders don't go to Rathman more often in a ballgame.
Well, but mainly because they try to go to Tim Brown as much as they can, and Ishmael, and Wright, and Jet, and Harvey Williams.
He has to wait his turn.
It's a numbers thing.
Hostetler, incomplete. Had time to throw, came back underneath the coverage. It's a terrible throw at the feet of Calvin Jones, and he knows it. It'll be third down and 11.
Remember, we keep mentioning the term of matchups. I keep saying the Raiders love certain matchups. One of the matchups we talked about at the very beginning of this game is the matchups between the corners and the wide receiver. And the corner that's gotten the most attention has been Ben Smith and his matchup with the Raider receiver, specifically Tim Brown.
7.5 minutes left in the ballgame. Hostetler Scrambles up the middle, cuts to the 10, dives to the 6. That should be the first down. It'll be first and goal to go. One of the toughest competitors you will ever see.
Why does an offensive line love a quarterback like Jeff Hostetler? Because he doesn't mind doing stuff like this. He's not the fastest guy. He's like Millen. He's not a blur. But he just flat out gives it up. The first place he looks, as you see him there, is he's looking at the sticks to be sure he got his first down.
Hostetler is the #2 rusher for the Raiders, and he has 30 yards rushing in this ballgame.
The matchup they want doesn't change. It's still the wide receiver in Brown.
Williams is going to lean to the 5. Gain of 1. It'll be second down and goal to go. And we're moving on the 6.5-minute mark. Time remaining in the game. Raiders lead it 12-6. All field goals so far.
Now here's back in that point of the field. You're down about the 5-yard line. You're not in goal line. From an offensive standpoint, you can still spread this defense out. It gives you more room to move. That spread your splits out, get bigger splits, spread your receivers out, use your motion, and get those matchups you want.
Play action fake. Fires incomplete. It's going to be third down and goal to go. Tim Brown was the man he was looking for in the back edge of the end zone.
That's who he was looking for, and Tim Brown was open. But Jeff Hostetler just absolutely gets smushed here. He gets it right in the face as he's thinking about throwing this ball. Watch this. He goes 1, 2, contact, bang. I mean, that was an excellent play right there, coming right straight up the gut by Dave Wyman, the linebacker who missed most of this year with a bad knee.
Quick note, Jeff Hostetler's 30 yards rushing. That's more than any Bronco has this afternoon. Third down goal. Jets throws, little swing, near side, touchdown. Harvey Williams, 5 yards.
Excellent patience and poise by Art Shell's offense. They're going to go for 2 in this situation, but great poise by Jeff Hostetler in the offense. They got a touchdown. It was called back. They had a holding penalty. They had some negatives. They never stopped moving the ball. They never gave up. They stayed with their plan, and they got the matchup they wanted with Harvey Williams in the flat, and we'll show you how that happened in a little bit.
And special teams set it up on the punt when they took away the 2 wide men and gave Tim Brown the area to return. They go for the 2. It's a handoff underneath. It is Harvey Williams with 2 more. And the Raiders now lead 20-6. Back with the kickoff.
Now an unexpected.
5 minutes and 59 seconds. That is the time remaining here. The Raiders lead this one by a score of 20-6 as Jeff Jager will kick it away. Milburn from the 12 to the 20, cuts to the near side, and he'll go out of bounds. Let's go back to the touchdown.
I'll show you exactly why this happens. Watch Tim Brown in motion come and screen a linebacker. Ishmael here is going to run up and get in here. Then watch Harvey Williams and the gap this creates. There is nobody there. Watch how aware everybody is of the wide receivers. They go down, they go down. Harvey Williams appears, and there's nobody to stop him from scoring. You can almost see a quarterback's eyes light up when he gets that. Did you see Jeff Hostetler's head just pivot real quick? He knew he had it, and he says his thanks.
Denver now just shy of their own 30-yard line. Millen from the shotgun. Here is the blitz pressure. He comes off underneath the coverage, and it is dropped by Glenn Milburn. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 30 now with 5:46 left in the ballgame.
You know, one thing we don't pay much attention to is the physical nature and how it influences everybody. How about part of everybody, the umpire? Duck! Duck!
Incoming. Here we go.
You know, and physical is the key word here on this game right now, because the Raiders can physically take this game away from the
That's Chad Brown, the umpire. Knocked away. Good defensive play by Albert Lewis. Just stuck that left hand out. Good timing. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Be sure to be with us here on NBC next Sunday. New England Buffalo, San Diego at the Jets. San Diego losing today. The Raiders, of course, they'll be able to come within the game of them. The big one, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland's record is 10-4. Pittsburgh's record now 11-3. They will be battling for the possibility of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Big game in Pittsburgh, second half of the doubleheader. This pass is way underthrown to Miller and should have been intercepted by Terry McDaniel. I think his eyes got big and said, oh, wow, now it's my turn. And then he let it get to the ground too soon.
Well, he throws the ball like this, does Hugh Millen, because of the pressure on him. He gets pressure right in his face, and you called it perfectly. He just pulls the string and short arms this thing and into the ground. Look at McDaniel. It's like, there's no way I can drop this. No possible way. Oh.
Now here's that same formation that the Raiders used earlier on the punt. So they have another return on. And here is the kick. And Tim Brown moves back, takes it at the 24. Better coverage by the Broncos, but he slips a couple. Little inside-out move, and he goes out just shy of the 40-yard line. 47 yards on the kick and a 16-yard return.
Yeah, you brought up the point of that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game next week, Charlie. And you know what? The real value and the real importance of that game, I think, to everybody in the American Football Conference is it's a matter of which refrigerator do you have to go play in, you know, during the playoff time. People worry about Buffalo. People that say, well, gee, Buffalo's out of the playoff, at least the championship game can't be up there, have never been in Pittsburgh and Cleveland in mid-January. That is going to be a terrible, terrible influence, I think, on the playoffs. They're both physical defensive teams that run the ball. They play right into that kind of weather. They
love that weather. They build their teams for that weather.
This is like Giant Stadium, Bill Parcells football all over again. You get the home field, you hit them with the weather, and you beat them with your defense.
5:24 left in the ball game. Raiders with a first down. And there's nothing there for Tom Rathman. So he is going to lose 4 yards back to the 36. And it'll be second down and 14.
Dave Wyman, I mentioned, been out most of the year with a bad knee, really starting to play well. That is just a case, if you're a young linebacker out there, that is what they refer to as reading and reacting. Reading the run and reacting to the exact spot where it's going to be.
Second down. Hostetler working on the clock. Quick drop, pass is complete. He comes to Alexander Wright. 41-yard line. Clock continues to move. Gain of 5. It'll be third down and 9. The Raiders now with Seattle on the road and Kansas City at home. And with a victory here, will pull within one game of San Diego, losing today. Denver now has to go to San Francisco next Saturday. Kansas City, of course, still in the hunt. They are at Miami on Monday night. And then they have Houston at home and then here at the Raiders. So the Raiders have climbed back into a position where they control their own destiny, and that's what every ball club really wants.
They've done it because the offense and Jeff Hostetler don't make many mistakes, and the defense beats up on people.
Little swing right side. Rathman, a one-hand grab, pulls it in with his left hand. And he is going to pick up a few yards on the play, but it'll be fourth down. He has about 4 on the play. It's going to be fourth down. They'll be kicking it.
Refer to this as a physical challenge. Run as hard as you can to the right. Turn around. I'm going to throw it where you can only get it with one hand. Can you do it? And you wonder why they wear those sticky, kind of tacky surface gloves? That's exactly why you wear those gloves.
Jeff Dawson in punt formation for the Raiders.
Jeff Gossett will be kicking to Glenn Milburn. And the kick is short, but it's going to take a Raider roll. It will go out of bounds. And they will mark it out at the 15-yard line. All right, Randy, let's take a look at the playoff picture.
Well, it's finally starting to kind of sift out here because, you know, these are the people we look at as figured to be in. You've got divisional leaders on the bottom with San Diego and Miami. San Diego not for long, in my opinion. Now, here's the rest of them. Now, the rest of them's gotten a lot shorter, Charlie. The rest of them was about 15 earlier. But right now, here is the rest of them. And you got to look at two teams, in my opinion, that are going to be very pivotal in the playoff stretch. The LA Raiders we're seeing today, and Bill Parcells' New England Patriots. Watch out for Parcells' team.
Denver now first down from their own 15-yard line. Millen throws, pass is pulled in. It is complete at the 25-yard line. Cedric Tillman with his first reception of the ball game. Lewis and Anderson with the tackle. And now the hurry-up offense, the ball at the 25-yard line. You can see just under 3.5 minutes time remaining. Millen has protection, crossing pattern deep underneath. Then a fumble, the ball is loose. Raiders pick it up. On the return, here is Donald Frank down the sideline.
Hugh Millen forces him out of bounds just inside the 10-yard line, or right at the 10-yard line. But you're seeing a team that is missing its most confident member, and that's John Elway. Late in the game, he makes things happen. Everyone knows he makes things happen. Without Elway, for the Broncos, this thing don't happen.
But watch here, Hugh Millen comes across to make the tackle. Right there, pushes him out. And the ball at the 10-yard line. Second turnover of the ball game. Both have been very costly to the Denver Broncos. This was Cedric Tillman.
That was another case of ball maintenance, getting in a crowd, getting around defenders, and Cedric Tillman did not get that second hand on the ball and maintain it.
And the Raiders at the Denver 10-yard line with a first down.
And for the Broncos, they got San Francisco next Saturday.
And here's the pitch to Harvey Williams. Williams around the corner, and he will go out at about the 7-yard line. So it will be second down. Darrell Hall took him out of bounds. As we have now 3:12 left in the ballgame, but the Denver Broncos, particularly their defense, they never could get any offense really on track today, but I think the defense knew they had to step it up, and they played as well as they were capable of playing. The two key turnovers, that ends up hurting them in the ballgame. Today, though, the Raiders the better ball club.
They really were. I mean, they played the chess match in the first half, Charlie Waters and Wade Phillips did, with the defense changing up man, blitz, and zone. They physically got beaten in the second half.
And here is Williams. He'll be stopped by Dave Wyman at the 10-yard line. Here's a reminder that following this game on most of these stations, it's an all-new Earth 2, followed by the all-new Sequest, then Chevy Chase Stars and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled times. 2:47 and counting. That is the time remaining here. And again, next week, the Raiders at Seattle. They return home on Christmas Eve to host the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver next Saturday at San Francisco. On Christmas Eve, they are home to host the New Orleans Saints. Hostetler goes high and outside. He was throwing this one away.
And Hostetler went down. He got hammered by Simon Fletcher just as he was getting ready to release that. You know, Charlie, the AFC might be doing something that we sort of talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago. One thing they really might not want to do, and that's let Jeff Hostetler and these Los Angeles Raiders into the playoff situation. They had him down. They had their chance to put him out. And this is just too talented a football team, especially on defense, to mess with if you get into a single elimination tournament.
Jeff Jager trying to make it 5 for 5. And he does. He has hit from 44, 29, 47, 30, and now 28 yards. 5 for 5 on his field goal attempts. And the Raiders move on top by a score of 23-6. And as when we were talking with the Raiders yesterday, all that they said in reality was, get us to the playoffs, then it's a brand new season. And the figure to be in the playoff picture, just as a reminder, and one of them, and you mentioned it, is San Diego. They are losing today to the 49ers. They go to New York to play the Jets, and the Jets may be very upset about their play today. They could well lose that. Then they return home to play Pittsburgh. They could lose that. If the Raiders continue on their march, what do you know? They could win the West.
But you know, you're talking about here, Charlie, you're talking about taking these guys out, and you're talking about home field advantage. You're talking about the fact that you're going to get to play all the playoff games at your place, and that is huge.
We mentioned next Saturday's ball game. The Denver Broncos at the San Francisco 49ers. Will John Elway be able to play? Well, we asked him about that yesterday, and he said, to tell you the truth, I really don't know. And it's really a day-to-day situation.
Charlie, if you're Wade Phillips and you're Pat Bowlen, the owner, do you want John Elway in there next week with your team at 7-7, a sitting duck? John will not have his mobility back in the next 6 days. That will not happen.
And here is the kickoff. And Milburn on the return. And he returns it to the 25-yard line, where Denver will move on offense once again. Raiders 23, Broncos 6.
I'd say in that game that Hugh Millen and the Denver Broncos have coming up next Saturday, if they like the Los Angeles Raiders offense, they're just going to be nuts about San Francisco. At last count, San Francisco was up 31-9 on San Diego, and San Diego's got one of those defenses that's got good team speed. One thing Denver really doesn't have on defense is very good team speed, and that's not a good team to have a lack of that against.
All right, Denver at the 25. And the pass to the sideline is Shannon Sharpe. He pulls this one in. And Shannon Sharpe, when we talked to him, he is so personable. He has this great smile. And, he felt that everybody had to step it up back. He is one of the ones that went to John Elway earlier and said, John, you don't have to carry the load by yourself. We're all here to help you. Well, and Shannon Sharpe certainly has.
His attitude typifies these Broncos. They don't know quit. John Elway's not in there. It doesn't matter. We can still win. They'll have the same attitude next week against the 49ers. They think they can win any game.
Millen goes deep down the far side. The pass is pulled in by Anthony Miller. Terry McDaniel with the tackle. But Anthony Miller strikes for 41 yards as we come to the 2-minute warning. We'll be back in just a moment. Was valuable player Jeff Jager as the winner of today's We Try Harder award.
His 5 field goals, a Raider record today.
Avis, the official rental company of the NFL. Millen again looking for Anthony Miller. He slips a couple of tackles. We've got a flag down. He goes out of bounds on the far side.
Terry McDaniel.
1 minute and 50 seconds. I thought I saw a flag. I guess I didn't. Oh, there it is.
Illegal contact foul on number 51, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Charlie, I'm not completely sure. We talked about John Elway playing next week, against San Francisco. We've seen a lot of 2 tight end. We've seen a lot of 2 strong back out of Denver. If you do play John Elway, and maybe you just absolutely have to play him in San Francisco next week, you've got to have him in that type of a situation. You're going to have a pure pocket protection plan ready for him.
And you go from the shotgun, and he just stays in it. At the 1-yard line is a Cedric Tillman who pulls it in, and he hangs on to it at the 1. Dan Land was there for the Raiders.
You talk about Elway firing that thing into a tight spot. Millen fired that ball to the perfect place into a tight spot.
And a Raider is shaken up. And the official have taken an injury timeout to stop the clock.
That's James Trapp down on a knee, he's pointing at his shoulder.
1 minute and 31 seconds. That is the time remaining. And suddenly, with the Raiders up 23-6 and Denver at the 1-yard line, a quick touchdown. You're looking at 2 points as a possibility. Onside kick. And the long shot of the Broncos could pay off. Let's take a look at the scoring. Well, if we're going to take a look, let's kind of kick our way through most of it. There is Jager with a field goal. And why not another one? So that makes it 6-0. We talked about it 5. Jason Elam says anything you can do, I can do better. He hits from 20. Jager has a return match. He wins this one 9-3. So far, it's all field goals. Guess what? Elam again, 21 yards out. Jeff Jager, 30 yards away. It's 12-6. Hey, we've got a touchdown. Harvey Williams, a 5-yard touchdown reception. Let's go back to the drawing board. Jeff Jager from 28 yards away. and the ball at the 1-yard line. So possibly the scoring is not over, and Denver still has an opportunity. And if they do pull this one out, credit the combination of Hugh Millen to Anthony Miller. All of a sudden, Anthony Miller with a couple of big plays late in the ball game.
I think a lot of this drive is a combination of execution by Denver, but more importantly, lack of interest by the Raiders defense. It's really seemed to let down.
Millen from the 1. Throws touchdown as he goes to Cedric Tillman. And Tillman, that is his first touchdown of the season. So he atones for his earlier fumble. And the Broncos are beginning to claw their way back into this ballgame. 23-12.
You want to talk about letting down and losing interest. The Raiders defense, no rush, no penetration, and in a zone coverage, no one really keeps track of the receiver running along the back of the end zone, and Tillman's in the perfect spot. Watch this. Beakert's facing up the quarterback. You see Dan Land chasing the receiver, but no one's in a position to challenge that throw.
And Shannon Sharp is the injured player. And in addition to the injury, very costly, of course, to the Broncos, it will also cost them their last time out.
That's that left knee he was talking about last night. You know, both ankles are hurting him. The left knee came in here, it was hurting him. He's talking about scoping ankles, scoping knees. Watch the top of the screen. Shannon Sharp right there. Leg just locked up. He gets challenged right there by Terry McDaniel, 36, and when he gets challenged by him, the knee just locks. This guy's playing through a lot of pain, a lot of adversity right now. He's been doing it the entire season. And to be honest with you, he can't wait to get to the end of the year to quit having to take injections in his ankles and knee and whatnot and get to the point where we can clean those things up and get healthy again.
Jason Elam to add the point after. And it is good.
I'll be honest, I don't know why you just don't go for 2 to pull it into a 9-point game. If you want to play dream and you got 1:26 left, why don't you pull it within a touchdown and a field goal to go ahead?
And here is the score, 23-13, the margin 10. I agree with you. 1:26 time remaining. And a check of the 10-minute ticker, and the bottom of your screen will show you all of the scores, the early ball games of finals, and the late games, some of them also finals.
That first one I told you, you watch out for the New England Patriots and Bill Parcells up there. He's starting to get a running game. It's kind of scary after watching him throw all as much as he did in the beginning of the year. See Pittsburgh, 14-3. 14 points is a very protectable lead for that defense.
Oh, yes. And here you look for the possibility, of course, of the onside kick. This would not be a surprise to the Raiders, as they have the good hands team up.
Steve Ortmeyer, their special teams coach, they work on this every Saturday and every day before practice when the special teamers get out there. You get the hands team out there. You see that is all running backs and receivers with a little sprinkling of linebackers to block.
And Jeff Gossett is a member of the hands team. He is second in from the bottom of your screen. And it is covered by the Raiders. And the onside kick attempt fails. And the Raiders have the ball, and now they can run out the clock.
Very good catch there about Jager, but Gossett. But notice where he was.
I'm sorry, it was Gossett, yes.
Gossett was on this side. He was not over there where they're going to kick the ball. I mean, they needed an extra guy, and he got out there and got out there. Didn't get a penalty, didn't be short.
Well, I got so excited when I saw a kicker out there. I had the wrong one. All right, spot the ball, the 41-yard line of Denver. The Broncos are out of timeouts. The Raiders have 2, and now all they have to do is kneel down and run out the clock. And so the Raiders today, their record will now go to 8-6 with the win. And the Broncos, with their loss, they go to 7-7.
Yeah, look at that. How do you like that one?
And San Diego losing today, and the Raiders suddenly within a game of the lead with 2 games to go.
Remember, the San Diego Chargers started this year 6-0. And they're right now at the end of the year, they're sort of reeling themselves in. They had a chance to clinch it last week against the Raiders. Couldn't do it. Had a chance to clinch it this week with the 49ers. Couldn't do it. I think it was their last chance.
They have one more opportunity in reality, and that is at New York against the Jets. But they have had trouble playing in the East. Then they return home to host on Christmas Eve Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is just one of the toughest teams that you can find in the National Football League. So Hugh Miller starting in place of John Elway. Wade Phillips, head coach of the Denver Broncos, as they come up short, as they battled with Art Shell and the Los Angeles Raiders, and the Raiders win it by a score of 23-13.
This was a case, Charlie, with a boxing analogy. I was a boxer and a slugger. They stood toe-to-toe, and when you stand toe-to-toe with a slugger, you're going to get your face whacked a lot, and Denver got whacked a lot.
23-13 Raiders. We'll be back in just a moment.